Stakes, 1400 metres. Horses in the yard. It's a Group 2. And our mounting yard, number 1, Fox Play, Chris Waller and Hugh Bowman.
She was beautifully ridden to win the T-Rose. That was on a heavy 8. She's back to the dry track here, and although she was dominant in that race, I thought she was short enough in a competitive field, but impossible.
Now from Tab with an update.
Yes, Greg, well, the favourite here is Fox Play. You could have had as much as $2.70 earlier today. Was into $2.40 when we did the preview at around about 10:30 this morning, and has remained around.
I'm on Sky 2 with apologies. Fourth at Randwick is at Group 2 grade for the 3-year-old fillies.
Starter about to release the field. The speedy Baccarella standing calmly in barrier 1. They're set now, they're racing. Well, Japanda's jumped out midfield, which is better than last time, but Global Glamour's in the second half of the field, second last, and Plenty to Like got the best of the start. Skylight Glow with the blinkers on is mustering the outside. Baccarella's shooting through on the fence. Quick Feet lands in 4th position, and Global Glamour wasn't great out. Over racing a bit, going to 5th in front of the favourite Fox Play. Then came Awoke on the inside of Susanna, and the last two a missed opportunity, and Japanda's gone down to the rails last. Down the side, and Plenty to Like in front, firing up in the lead by a length to Skylight Glow, who switches off nicely in second. Baccarella with cover in third, a half the outside to Quick Feet. Global Glamour travels better in 5th now, a half the outside of the favourite Fox Play. Then came Awoke from Suzanne Japanda, and a missed opportunity, the last one. 600 metres to run on the Tab T-Rose, and it's Plenty to Like in front by a half length on Skylight Glow, then Quick Feet and Baccarella. Further back to Fox Play. Global Glamour just looking for a bit of room now. Awoke is coming through, 2 off the fences. Fox Play works into the clear. Cezanne moves up on the outside. Oh, the favourite's in a pocket, Fox Play. Oh, needs chopper rescue. Skylight Glow races to the lead from Quick Feet. Then came Global Glamour bursting along the rails. Fox Play's into the clear now. Anybody's race. Skylight Glow. Fox Play. Can she still get up? Yes! Oh, Fox Play gets up to win it from Skylight Glow and Quick Feet. It nearly went horribly wrong. Then Plenty to Like, Global Glamour and Cezanne. Further back to Awoke from Baccarella, Japanda, and a missed opportunity.
Well, the stablemate almost brought it undone there for Fox Play when the rider on Suzanne for them again. The furious T-Rose double goes to Fox Play.
Oh, a long way. Can we just turn the volume up on this? Is a great call. I just wanted to hear this call.
Oh, okay, let's hear it.
Fox
Play's into the clear now. Anybody's race. Skylight Glow. Fox Play. Can she still get up? Yes! Oh, Fox Play gets up to win.
Fox Play, well, I was driving in the car. I've turned these 10 race programs into 5 race programs.
What do you mean you're driving in the car? Race 4.
Yeah, so I was just arriving.
That are expected to come to Melbourne for the 1,000 guineas, whereas Fox Play will go with Oh My Sword, we understand, to the Flight Stakes. So that's where the split.
Yeah, the passion of the race call. The Sydney fillies versus the Melbourne fillies?
Oh My Sword is the best filly in Sydney. There's no doubt in my mind. I don't know what Chris thinks.
Notice here, Duff, that Suzanne tries to keep Huey in a pocket, but to no avail in the end.
Yeah, look, I thought she was under the odds going into that race yesterday. I was dead set proven wrong because it's another authoritative performance from her. I know it's a bunch finish, but she overcomes that little bit of difficulty. She's done it on wet, she's done it on dry, she's got a terrific attitude, she's a nice filly. I don't think she's Oh My Sword's class, but she, you know, there's I don't know what Chris is thinking with her. Her stablemate Suzanne's going to get better as the races get longer, and you know there was other good runs in that race. You know, Quick Feet much better on the dry. Skylight Glow. I think Awoke's a stayer as well. I've got her wrong. I still think she's could be a dark horse for a Wakeful or something like that.
She was much better yesterday. She was quite good.
She ran into dead ends late there, didn't she? Yeah. But a bunch finish is always dangerous. But she's pretty good, this filly.
With a single blow, his custard pie me now.
Well, here we are for the shorts, the 1100 metre race for the sprinters here. Group
Boss Lane on the outside jumped out okay, so did Dothraki, and Ball of Muscle is punching through on the rails. Takedown goes up to make a line of 3. Smart Volatility back to 4th. Then Japanism the inside, further back to Sarajevo. English 3 wide in the early part. Then Kaepernick on the fence from Clearly Innocent, and Boss Lane's been snagged back to last. Ball of Muscle leads up by a length to Dothraki and Takedown. Japanism back on the fence on the inside of Smart Volatility. Then Sarajevo from Kaepernick. English hasn't had any cover today. In a 3-wide spot on the outside of Clearly Innocent. And Boss Lane's last of all, but around the turn, McAvoy's got a good hold on Ball of Muscle. Leads out from Dothraki and Takedown. Then Japanisma, Smart Volatility. Kaepernick looking to start a run, and English getting to the outside. She's 6 lengths off the leader, Ball of Muscle. He leads out by a length. Giving chases Dothraki from Takedown. English is winding up, but it's all too late by the looks of it. Kaepernick to the inside. Wide out Takedown. Dothraki go to Ball of Muscle. Takedown the outside, hits the lead. Takedown's won the shorts from either Kaepernick, Ball of Muscle or Dothraki. Then came English, Clearly Innocent late. Further back to Sarajevo, Smart Volatility, Boss Lane. Japanisma not in good form, ran last.
Well, you're about to see something special in a moment, because Gary Moir is going to come sweeping down here like a hurricane. Takedown, the big boy, has got up in the last stride to beat Ball of Muscle and Dothraki. Beats Ball of Muscle and Kaepernick.
Yeah, look, he's just a good, no-nonsense horse. He's a tough bugger Takedown. I would have thought some of these sprinters would be too sharp for him at 1,100 metres first up, but he's got racing style, and he can put himself into a position, and you know he's tough. And a good training performance to have him ready first up for a race like this, you know. He's going to take the logical path to Premier and probably go to Melbourne for that race on Caulfield Cup Day as well. Ball of Muscle, much better run from him first up. Kaepernick was terrific considering the way the race was run. English, you'd have to say a big flop, only because she was even money. When you want to pull the race apart, I know you can say she was wide, no cover, and a sprint home, and sectionals were great. But that's her asset. She can run sectionals. But that was a common run if you done your money on it.
Of course.
I thought Clearly Innocent.
Very grateful.
Did you think he could do that?
Yes, because he was fine-tuned for today. His body weight was perfect. I've got to go and clap him.
Go on. Here he goes. Well, this doesn't happen often at Royal Randwick, but there's no one else like Gary Moir, the son of the legendary George Moir. And if he could, he'd jump on, believe me.
Might happen. Gary Moir takes celebrating to another level.
I think it's good because the crowd got involved and most racegoers had never seen anything like that.
That's right.
What's going on here? He's so excited.
Dancing.
So he should be. I noticed
I've ever seen a stakes race where there's just 2 stables. Yeah, Godolphin versus Waller. And
Hill Stakes, and it's over 2,000 metres. All right, there's
for a second up there, but boy, he was awesome winning the Chelmsford. It's impossible to tip against him on that form, and I'm excited to see.
In the Hill Stakes, O'Shea has the odds-on favourite Hartnell. Let's find out.
Big Hurricane just dwelt a fraction off the inside, and Storm the Stars is rolling forward as he did in the Chelmsford Stakes, and Storm the Stars is going to take up the running from Hartnell up on the outside of Preferment. A couple after Who Shot the Barman, Magic Hurricane, and Ground. They race over towards the 1,000-metre mark. No change to the order. It's Storm the Stars clear. Out by 2 lengths to the 5-2 on favourite Hartnell. 2 lengths away to the second pick in the betting Preferment, and a couple further back to Magic Hurricane on the inside of Who Shot the Barman, and Grand Marshal is the last one. Down the side of the course, they're inside the 800 metres now, and it's Storm the Stars by a length and a half to Hartnell. McDonald keeping his powder dry on the hot price favourite. Bowman goes for the stick there on Preferment in third to get his mind on the job, and he's starting to pick up coming to the turn. Magic Hurricane on the fence from Who Shot the Barman, and Grand Marshal scrubbed up's last of all around the turn. It's Storm the Stars being tackled now by Hartnell. Preferment being pushed along. Magic Hurricane creeping closer. He still swings off. Hartnell McDonald inside the 300 metres. He's travelling great guns, Hartnell, and he zips away from them. Storm the Stars, Magic Hurricane can't do any better, nor last year's winner Preferment. You thought he was impressive in the Chelmsford. It's all on again today. Here's a massive win to Hartnell. Flashing home, Who Shot the Barman grabs second in front of Storm the Stars. Not sure fourth, Magic Hurricane and Preferment. Grand Marshal struggled all the way.
Wowee. Wowee. Wouldn't you like to go for him to go around in 40 minutes' time?
What an exciting clash we got coming up if they meet. It's round 1. We've seen round 1. We're about to see round 2 shortly.
This is going now. I just heard Munsey say he's firmed a third favourite in the Cox Plate, and it was just a track gallop for him here today.
Yeah, he's just a happy horse, and Happy horse, happy jockey, happy trainer. It's easy, isn't it?
Everybody's happy. You're not blowing. He's
now outright favourite for the Caulfield Cup. What's going through your mind?
Oh, look, I think you've got to take it in perspective. Look, it was very, very good. But, you know, he gets the wonderful advantage of being at Osborne Park and the team of people that look...
Everything's on the table. Metropolitan, Caulfield Cup, even Cox Plate.
Yeah, I think really the...
He's below his best.
Yeah,
he was poor there, but Hartnell has beaten serious stayers here, hasn't he?
As he did the previous day. Yeah. Look, no knock on him. I mean, John's going fantastic. It's probably as good as he can go, but I thought Preferment to give him a real race yesterday on the better ground, and Preferment's probably got to come to Melbourne and get him left-handed again and see how he's going.
Yeah, get to the Turnbull.
He's a 5 or 6 year old bull by Zabeel now, and you know, he's probably at the crossroads.
I know that track wasn't really wet yesterday, but Hartnell's action through the Randwick track is flawless, and Winx is a ducker and diver.
Yeah, a good four at Randwick. It has a lot more give in it than say like a good four at Caulfield.
Sydney tracks too.
Yeah, it has a bit more juice in it. Yeah. So, and it would have been.
Absolutely. I mean, he won a BMW. I think his first racing prep. He went off the ball, maybe because I don't know, maybe because he had some niggles or firm tracks were playing against him, but he's well and truly... I mean, on that performance yesterday, even if he was close to top weight in the Metrop, you'd think he'd be winning.
I think he'd be. And in almost a carbon copy, he comes out and bolts in the hill.
Yeah, well, it was never in doubt, was it, the way he relaxed outside the lead, which is really not in his makeup, and just... under a hole, really. It's just so arrogant the way he's won his past 2 starts, and you know some people say, oh, he's beaten up a team of no hopers here. You know, Preferment's a pretty good horse. He won 3 or 4 Group 1s, the Australian Cup winner last year, and he's a second up specialist. You know, who shot the barman? I'm convinced he's going better than ever. And I think he's starting to turn the corner. Your mate there, Storm the Stars. Yeah, I reckon his attitude's turning. I don't know what target race you're going to have for a horse like him, but there's something I think Waller will sort out.
Do you want to? Here's a funny story. When I went down there,
I would like to see him have another go at a Melbourne Cup. I really would. That horse, dare I say it, it reminds me a bit of Saintly. You know, you need a classy stayer. Everyone forgets he's a 2-mile winner overseas, and I know he bolted in a Sydney Cup, and in the Melbourne Cup was, well, they just dragged him back to last. I don't know, you know, he wasn't right. But if he gets in, performs in Melbourne at his first start in Melbourne, there's a theory around that he won't go in Melbourne as well. But if he performs at his first start in Melbourne, and I think he will because he's a different horse, I would be starting to think Melbourne Cups with a horse like him.
OK. You know, he's just going to be chasing a champion, and while he's a very good horse, I think he'll be running...
Huey Bowman, good luck as he prepares to walk out and climb aboard the champion. Here she is, and there he is, Huey Bowman, who's already ridden 3 winners today, looking for the 4 on Winx. And another Group 1. Well, what more is there to say?
Well, I like the way Bowman just walked.
You at tab.com.au. So we've taken Winx out of this. The opportunity to take as much as $1.15 Winx at the start of the week there. We haven't taken deductions for the scratchings of Toss and Stardom and Lure Main that came through yesterday, and she's presently $1.08 chance. She did open $1.08 on Group 1.
In the Colgate, Optic White, George Main, and they're off and racing. She's going to settle last, Winx. Winx is last in great esteem, first out from It's Somewhat Vanbrugh. Haraki goes into 4th, Winx mustering on the rails and putting the course. And great esteem in front, by length to It's Somewhat. Then Vanbrugh from Haraki, still 2 lengths away to Winx. She's looking for a 7th Group 1 today. Bowman sits very quietly at the 700 metres, and Spirit Jim still back last, racing towards the turn now. And it's great esteem by 3/4 to It's Somewhat. Then Vanbrugh from Haraki. Winx is just coasting along, moving up into a 3-wide position now, inching closer, and Spirit Jim whips them in around the turn. Great esteem in front from It's Somewhat Haraki, and here she comes now, Winx. In trademark style, she just sidles up to them. Bowman hasn't moved. Winx moves up to Haraki, and they're beaten off the rest. Winx puts her head in front now from Haraki, and Winx is starting to edge away. Here's a 7th Group 1 victory, 11 in a row, and she gives these a nice toweling in the Colgate Optic White Stakes. Winx, watch out, Melbourne. She's coming back for another Cox Plate. Haraki second, then It's Somewhat Vanbrugh in a photo for 3rd, Spirit Jim and Great Esteem.
It doesn't matter how far she wins by. What about the ease of that? 11 straight. And the Cox Plate is at her mercy. Winx too good. Again.
Beside her here, Hugh, and I don't know if you get nervous, but we get nervous for you. The pressure that's on you. Are you glad it's over?
Not really. I'm just enjoying the ride. It's a very special ride for us all involved with her, and look, she's going to meet better horses now, so she's ticked this box, but, you know, we're under no illusions. I mean, you only saw Hartnell win here about 40 minutes ago. I mean, he put a margin on his horses, so look, she's beating inferior opposition today, but there's going to be nowhere to hide when we get to Melbourne, and she's come through it well today. She's had a good blow. I feel she's felt the run, so just looking forward to Melbourne now.
Absolutely.
So, and as you see, it's a big team that's now evolved, and we all feel it come race day, and obviously appreciate her at the same time. There's nothing like that winning feeling. It just lets everything settle down for another few weeks, and the dream continues.
7 of them at Group 1 level, so Lee, she equals what Makybe Diva was able to do and win 7 Group 1s. Makybe Diva, of course, won the Absolute Classics. She's won the Cox Plate, but what she does here, it's a bit like Black Caviar, isn't it? She travels under her own steam.
I was just saying to someone yesterday, isn't it extraordinary that in the last 15 or 16 years, we've probably seen 4 of the greatest mares that ever raced on the planet here in Australia.
Yeah. And the greatest horses we've seen of recent times have been mares. There's got to be a reason for that, doesn't there? You know?
I have no idea. I really have no idea. But you're right, there's probably a reason for it. But when you consider Winx latterly and then Black Caviar, Makybe Diva and Sunline, probably 4 of the greatest mares ever raced.
That's
anyway,
right. And before them, Let's Elope, we lost this week at just nearly 30 years of age.
It looks like Winx there is only sort of in second gear, but the sectional time, she's run her last 600 in 34.58 in comparison to Hartnell's run 34.86. So she's gone marginally quicker than Hartnell. Obviously, he was racing at 2,000 metres, but comparing that to the rest of the rest of the races on the day at Randwick, nothing else sort of broke 34 apart from Takedown, which was in the shorts. So they were sort of really motoring, even though to the eye she looks like she's going under her own sort of canter, really.
You couldn't be critical of that.
No.
Goodness. I reckon the month gap, as of right now, Hartnell's the superior horse in Australia. Right now,
superior to Winx at 2,000, or not at 1,600.
Just on what we saw at Randwick yesterday, but they're going to. The fear with Hartnell, I think, is that they don't think he can replicate the Randwick form elsewhere as much as Winx can. What do you reckon, Lee?
I call you Bowman, who's cool, calm and collected. He didn't panic. He just sat, knowing her capabilities, and she did her thing. You know, when she's back in the field, you've only got to sneeze on her, and she's bang, she's there within a length and a half of him on the point of the turn. She was simply sensational again. Look, she didn't blow the field away like she did at a previous start. I think this horse is flying, the second horse, Haraki. What's he going to do? Is he going to go to an Epsom?
Epsom handicap,
yeah. He'll be very competitive. Like, he's won on wet and dry now, and a lot of these Godolphin horses are airborne at the moment. And look, the pack there are not in the same class on the day, but they're ticking along okay. But it's all about her. She just did her stuff, and what can you say? She's just a champion.
She didn't have to win by far, did she?
No.
She had a 1 at the 500. Did you think
all eyes were on her?
You don't see it often. You know, Might and Power had that little bit of aura about him, and obviously your Sunlines, and now it's her. It's obviously, if we forget Black Caviar,
right.
That was the greatest scene of all time, the TJ Smith. But she's there now, and good luck to Melbourne, because they're going to enjoy her for a couple of big runs there, and obviously the Caulfield Stakes and the Cox Plate.
One thing that was Winx and Hartnell, and unfortunately it doesn't look like happening, but there they are. The best 2 horses in Australia, Winx and Hartnell, $2 and $9 in the Cox Plate.
Yeah, wow. It's well, they say, well, obviously they keep saying Caulfield Cup with Hartnell. We'll leave that to them. The United States seems to have come up well. Token Salem had that setback with coming to Sydney yesterday. He's had a cut in his leg, so we'll learn more there. Palatino's hit a
360, got into 320, out to $4, now $3.80. So he's going to sit at the top of the betting board. Jameka, open 5s, got into $4.80, now back out to $5.50. Set Squares had support into $6.50. Real Love.
I can tell you that Tom Melbourne has been a reasonably solid favourite. He's been $3.70, out to $3.80, back into $3.70.
They're set. They're away.
And Tom Melbourne certainly not the best to bounce out. Boss will have to just give him a bit of a squeeze to take up the early initiative ahead of Jameka. Up there in the early stages is Taiyu, and coming over Gallant to be near the speed as they settle fully into stride. Marisha's gone right back to be last of all and settling pitched out now, and he's rolling along at a good tempo heading towards 1,000 metres. Tom Melbourne by 2 lengths Gallant, 2 lengths Jameka. Gabella's on her outside, 1.5 lengths away Taiyu, a further 2 lengths back in the field then to Real Love down on the rails, being followed as they came up the side of the course by Magnapel, and then Set Square Excess Knowledge on the rails. Between horses then still is Tall Ship ahead of Second Bullet, Walkadelic, Zantika, Moonquith, and then came Barisha and Observational a dozen lengths away from the leader, and that's Tom Melbourne running along by 2 lengths Gallant, 2 lengths away Jameka at the 600. She's had a beautiful run on the inside of Gabella, then Magnapel, Taiyu. Here's Set Square coming around the outside with her run, and then Real Love, Excess Knowledge and Second Bullet with Moonquith pulled to the outside. Inside the 400 metres, Tom Melbourne with Gallant coming at him hard, and then Gabella, Magnapel, Set Square off the course, and Jameka cut the corner and hit the front. 300 left to go, and Jameka went for home. Tom Melbourne can't go with her. Gallant's battling away very strongly on the outside. Jameka in front with 150 to go, holding a good margin. She's 2 lengths in front, going away from them. The Oaksman is back. Jameka streaked away, won it by 3 Gallant. Barisha got up for third in a photo. Just ahead of Set Square, Magnapel and Tom Melbourne. Then Real Love, Gabella, Observational, Excess Knowledge and Second Bullet. Further back in the field to finish then was Swarkadelic and Tall Ship, Zantika. Taiyu second last, and Moonquith has run last.
Oh, Jameka, she is class with a capital C. We saw her win the Oaks this time last year over the Flemington Cup Carnival. She'll be one of the favourites for the Caulfield Cup now. That was a beautiful ride from Nick Hall.
Having to go inside Tom Melbourne and then, you know, in that bad part of the track. But for a stayer like her to be still
Caulfield Cup, and Lee, you've got the leader who was the favourite, and Tom Melbourne. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's interesting. He's always been the cleanest winded horse we've ever trained. You know, you could gallop him or race him. He hardly blows at all. He had a good blow yesterday after that race, and I think maybe the Tom Melbourne, now as a 6-year-old with only his second run in like 4 months, probably needed another run under his belt to be. It's different thing leading these sort of horses in a high pressure race like that. If you're not super fit and you're a leader, you're going to get found out, and I think he did yesterday. That said, I don't know. I'm not sure that he'll make. I think he's got Group 1 wins in him.
I like the way he boxed on. He looked like he was going to fall right.
Yes, he doesn't do that, and he was puffed at the end. But look, I thought it was a pass mark given the way he pulled up. I'll have a chat with Terry and the syndicate, but we might take the Caulfield Cup's looking like a bridge too far now.
He won't get in.
Well, he nearly had to win that, because otherwise you're going to patch together a program that you might get there, but you won't be any good. So we'd probably go lower road, set him up for the autumn, and then just see what we've got. But he's a very good horse, and he will improve off that. Yeah.
Would something like a JRA play to...
Irresistible now, Jameka, isn't she, as the ultimate Caulfield Cup candidate, don't you think?
Well, she is, because very few of these Oaks-winning 3-year-old fillies come back to their very best form against the older males. Now, she's destroyed that field yesterday. She destroyed the Sydney Cup winner, who's a very good horse in his own right, and several others. So she's the rightful favourite, and it's up to something else to challenge her in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
You've got to remember too,
there was only 3 Group 1 winners in the field, and they've run first, second and fourth.
Correct.
So Group 1 form comes through.
And as I said to the owners before the rest of it, they said, what's your level of confidence? I said, look, okay, but I said, this is a really good field. I said, he hasn't drops 3.5 or 4 kilos into the Caulfield Cup, for God's sake, you know. It's got a huge chance, and the second horse was very good.
He's more of a Melbourne Cup horse. That's the Sydney Cup horse winner in Galante.
Yeah, interesting. I thought the same way. I thought it was good. We're going to change his shoeing.
In the Lawrence and the Fian were both very, very good, and she got into a very winnable race, obviously, here yesterday.
Well, she was well set up with 2 runs under her belt, a smart ride, everything fell into place. I know it wasn't the place to be, but he saved the ground in a 2,000-metre race, and then all of a sudden finds himself in the best ground. So an absolute pearler from Nick Hall. There's no doubt about it. I think that may have flattered the win, the dominance of the win, but she's a good filly, or good mare. We know her, and but we do know that she loves it wet. She got the favours there. What about the return from Galante, from the Sydney Cup, winner? he's gone enormous there. He did all the donkey work up near the speed there and stuck on, I thought, particularly well. I think the markets have reacted with him as well as far as the Cup's concerned. But bear in mind that, he's a pretty good wet tracker. He's much better on that sort of going than he is on top of the ground. Barisha.
He's
back, Godolphin. They've got to change his name.
Got to change his name.
Someone said they might change it to the real Exosphere.
Yeah, don't be fooled, Pat. Gardens for the Stan Fox, a Group 2. Wonderful.
It's just a pleasure to look at some of them. They're absolute different league, these horses. I know there's no Stern here today and probably no...
Standing just missed it by about a half length or so and Thronum jumped best as expected. But Good Standing is railing through a half length away from it. Solomon goes to third, then Divine Prophet. Mediterranean could a fraction deep and Impending with the blinkers has switched off at the rear of the field. Pushed through any further and now Thronum's taken down to the rails to lead clearly. This allows Solomon to stride up on the outside and it's a touch keen now in second. Good Standing back to third, then Divine Prophet and the last two Impending and Mediterranean and 4 lengths off the leader, which has thrown him by 3/4 to Solomon. Good Standing with the run of the race third, then came Divine Prophet. Second last the inside Impending and still the outside Mediterranean as they race up towards the home turn. 500 to run on the Stan Fox and it's thrown him in front from Solomon. Divine Prophet the first to make the move. Mediterranean moves up on the outside now. Impending all of a sudden is looking for the run. He gets it now. Divine Prophet races to the lead. Impending's out. Then Solomon, Good Standing. Mediterranean's only battling. Divine Prophet in front. Impending starting to level up. Impending goes to Divine Prophet. Impending the outside hits the lead from Divine Prophet and Impending wins it. Impending and the Stan Fox a long neck to Divine Prophet. Good Standing third, Solomon fourth. Mediterranean thrown a word up for it.
Third in the Golden Rose behind the Star Stablemate Astern. But today he wins the Group 2 Stan Fox Stakes. Impending for John O'Shea and James McDonald.
All right. This horse, you think he's a serious Group 1 contender?
Yeah, I do. I think he's a Group 1 horse for sure.
Brent, I know you.
Well, the format of that Stan Fox has been really strong in the last 2 years and produced the 2 Caulfield Guineas.
That's right.
Because Press Statement won it last year, and previous to that was Shooting to Win. So here you see Impending back on the inside, running last. I didn't think Divine Prophet would be in front of Impending. I thought it'd be the other way around. Especially with the blinkers on for the first time on the Godolphin Impending. But Divine Prophet appeared to have every chance. Christian Reith reading some media out of Sydney this morning saying maybe the slow tempo was against him, but you'd have to say it would have been as much, if not more, against Impending. He was able to pick him up and reel him in. So both horses expected to come to Melbourne and run in the Caulfield Guineas in 2 weeks' time, and still I'd imagine that Good Standing, who ran third, could also come down for the Caulfield Guineas.
Doesn't it tell you how good a Stern is? And I know he's had the setback, so he's not there. But with Godolphin at the moment, one falls down, another takes its place. So you lose the star, the next best comes along, and it's the favourite for the Guineas.
Yeah, so. By Lonhro out of Nemesis, he's no mark, is he? This horse, he's always showed that he had a stack of ability, and the key to him is he's on top of the ground. James McDonald loves this guy. He loves Astern. Astern's going to be kept, obviously, as a sprinter. At the moment, who do we want to be on for a Caulfield Guineas? Only 2 weeks away. I think this is the strongest form. I think that's the strongest form for the Caulfield Guineas. That's just a personal opinion, and it's sort of been tested.
This was one of the better races of the day.
I'd suggest this is real 3-year-old form. I think the most surprising part of this race was the most speed maps and form students had Impending with the blinkers on, probably rushing up outside the leader. Thronum or something as far as the race is concerned, but he come out nice and quiet on him, and they actually relaxed beautifully with the blinkers on this horse, and he shows a really good sprint to get over Divine Prophet and Good Standing, who are really nice colts in their own right. So a really interesting contest. He was heavily back late. He looks a real definite, deserved favourite, I'd suggest, for the Caulfield Guineas. The second horse lost no admirers. He threw a plate in that race, so whether you want to put any emphasis on that. And I thought Good Standing was good as well. There's 3 magnificent colts, and I'm suggesting, and so does the market suggest, that that's real form. That's real form.
You said it's
into the spring. it becomes more of a lottery than those sprinter mile races, and I think this is a very tough one.
All right, let's have a look at them in the yard, and here we go with the Gloaming Stakes and our mounting yard coverage brought to you.
Red clear favourite Swear the 2 and will be the market mover. If you can factor
Honey Wine Retaliation, 2 further back to High Miss, then Tumultuous, 2.5 lengths further back to Swear, being quietly ridden today, and 2 lengths away to Lasquetti Spirit. Down the side now, Valodaro in front from Oculist and Coonawarra. Honey Wine tucked in fourth on the rails from Prized Icon. Retaliation moving up 3 wide now. High Miss looking to get onto its back, followed by Tumultuous Swear and Lasquetti Spirit. The fillies making hard work of it on the turn, where Valodaro leads from Oculus. Moving up on the outside, Retaliation going early. Then came Honey Wine from High Mist, and further back to Swear. Valadaro's got a kick at the 300 metres from Retaliation and Honey Wine. Valodaro in front from Retaliation, but here's High Mist extending the outside. Swear's trying to go with it. Valadaro's in front. Valodaro, Tumultuous up the fence. Honey Wine late. Valodaro just in front from Honey Wine. Tumultuous. Valodaro scrambled in. Valodaro from Honey Wine. Third between Retaliation and Tumultuous, the fence. Close up then Prized Icon together with Swear. Real close finish at the end. High Mist peaked from Lasquetti Spirit, Oculist and Coonawarra. Valodaro will get this.
It's a horror show if you've backed Prized Icon. He was in a good position and then nothing happened for him. High Miss was just out-sprinted. It's not his style of race. Swear was given... had to give them an impossible start. When they're walking down the back, he's 7 or 8 lengths off the tempo. I thought there's a lot of merit in his performance, but the winner got the job done. He's 3 from 3. He's hard to fault now, Valodaro. He's a big, raw sort of a horse. Honey Wine lunged. I like him as far as the future's concerned, as well as a staying prospect, but the story of the race is about the 3 favourites. You know, Prized Icon, desperately unlucky, wasn't run to suit High Mist, and Swear, I think he's a really good horse in time.
Just the richest race of the day, the $400,000 Ronald McDonald House Golden Pendant Fur Seals back at the races today. She's favourite. Let's go into the yard.
2 hardest to beat, Heavens Above, locally trained horse with Timmy Martin.
Hasn't moved, and it's sat there solid as a rock at $4.80 second pick.
And the gates open, they're off in the Golden Pendant. Heavens Above gets back in the early part, and going forward wide out, Dixie Blossoms. Tycoon Tara first out from Den Magic. Dixie Blossoms there, and right up behind them is First Seal camping behind the leaders. Blossoms in a more forward roll today. Parks in second, Den Magic third, followed by Pearls, and First Seal drifts back to fifth midfield. Length and a half to Heavens Above from Amarata. Then came Sold for Song, Serene Majesty, and Zambar's the last one at about 9 lengths off the leader. Tycoon Tara looking for another group success, out in front by 3/4 to Dixie Blossoms. Then Pearls on the inside at Den Magic. 2 further back to the favourite, First Seal, 1 off the fence. Heavens Above improving. Then came Amarata from Sold for Song, Serene Majesty, and Zambar is last of all. Tycoon Tara held together around the corner from Dixie Blossoms. Den Magic, First Seal popped the question. Then came Pearls, and further back to Heavens Above. Tycoon Tara still in front from Dixie Blossoms and First Seal. Tycoon Tara's kicking. Tycoon Tara length and a half to Dixie Blossoms and First Seal. Tycoon Tara showing no signs of stopping. She does it again. Tycoon Tara from Dixie Blossoms, and Pearls railing through into third. Den Magic fourth. First Seal didn't finish it off. Then Heavens Above the outside. Further back to Serene Majesty, Sold for Song, Amarata, and Zambar in a real on-pace dominated race. Tycoon Tara, what a training performance by the Snowden boys. A Missile Stakes, a Show County, and now a Golden Pendant, and squeezed in
and she was able to build momentum and really let down off that. Yeah.
3 group wins out of 4 starts.
Now at $2.15. Samara Dancer is $5.50, was found early and now starts to ease up, and that's pretty much the story with the remainder of the field because of all this support for Whispering.
I can't believe
The price Whispering Brook has got into, you could have got as much as $5 earlier in the week. I know we've had Leote a race morning scratchy.
Drifter, and there has been some money for the 14 Legless Verve. $17 was the best price you could get today. $13 is what you...
Legless Verve got away fast. Zam Zam is up there and Inspired us still, so they were both named to go forward, and they do so. After 250 metres now, Whispering Brook pressing on from outside, crosses over and eventually finds the lead. In front of letting her go now is in second placing their Legless Verve. Inspired Estella's third, 2 lengths to Zam Zam, sort of light, a length and a half further back Sebring Dream. They're followed behind those then by La Luna Rossa in the green colours, and then on the outside is Royal Tithe going forward about 4 wide. I'm a Star getting up along the inside but into a pocket at the moment with Flying Jess, who just seemed to stumble a little bit there. Samara Dancer's back second last, and Miss Rock. So Whispering Brook the leader at the 600 metres. Legless Verve 3/4 away, 2 lengths Inspired Estelle. On the rail then Sword of Light, followed by Zam Zam, Royal Tithe, and then the Luna Rossa. Sebring Dream in some traffic trying to work clear as Flying Jess comes around the outside, and I'm a Star pocketed on the inside, cornering in. Samara Dancer second last. Whispering Brook in front round the home turn, but challenges are plenty. Legless Verve claimed her on the outside. Zam Zam running on, and Sword of Light just behind them. It's Legless Verve in front of Whispering Brook. The rest were battling away with the Sword of Light trying to lift on the outside, and La Luna Rossa coming, but Legless Verve in front. Legless Verve got in from La Luna Rossa, Sword of Light. I'm a Star might get fourth from Sebring Dream out wide. Whispering Brook folded up on the rail, and then came Miss Rock. Back behind those to finish was Samara Dancer, never a chance. Zam Zam dropped out, and then Royal Tithe, Inspired Estelle, and Flying Jess.
Well, there was some good money for it at a decent price on the death. $17 into $12. That's a great training performance there to Stuart Webb. Congratulations, Leg.
That's a no-brainer. It's she one of the sort of better fillies you've trained in your time. Obviously, Yosei was a talented filly that won plenty of Group 1s at this sort of level. Where does she sort of measure up?
Different fillies. Into Legless Verve goes forward. I reckon La Luna Rossa was really unlucky here. You can see La Luna Rossa just sitting there travelling beautifully for Ollie and can't get out at the right stage, but Legless Verve, Maddie's right there on speed.
If you were just watching in the run and you weren't looking at the prices, you'd say that Legless Verve was the one you wanted to be on at the halfway mark, and I was watching it with special interest because I was in the mounting yard and someone pointed to one of the part owners and said, if this horse wins, he'll go naked before they come back to scale, and it won, and everyone was very nervous for a while there, but he didn't. Jason Azzopardi's his name. There was some spectacular post-race scenes with his celebrations, but even here, Mike, you sort of want to be on the one outside the leader, don't you?
Yeah, she was going sweetly the whole way, wasn't she? She just travelled up lovely, and she looked to win a long way out.
Mike, you were saying you had some connection with the family. You trained one of her relations.
Yeah, a filly called Mia called Tootsie that came over here and won a couple of stakes races, so it's a very good family.
Are these Victorian fillies top-notch, or are we going to wait for the tsunami from Sydney to knock them out in most of the big races coming up?
Yeah, look, the High Chaparral filly of Wallace looks one, doesn't it? If it comes here, and he looks very strong with his 3-year-old filly, so it's going to be interesting. As you know,
in New Zealand, she flashes for second. I Am a Star held up. Miss Rock for Robbie Lang.
He was at the same function. Really, about Miss Rock, absolutely.
Miss Rock ran really well, and even Sebring Dream ran well.
Yeah, well, a lot of those.
This horse was scratched out of Sydney.
Yeah, she was, and she looks. Look, she sits outside a well-fancied favourite here, and runs away. So you'd have to say she's pretty good, Legless Verve. She's returned a much stronger filly by the look of things, and she's certainly in contention, I'd suggest. La Luna Rossa, this Kiwi's run well, especially if we get a wet track around for this Kiwi. Look out, she can jump out of the ground. Swords of Light was good. Miss Rock run into dead ends everywhere down the straight there. Hers was arguably in the Robbie Lang colours with the checkered hoop sleeves back in the field with the black and red hat. She was pretty good there, and I am a Star got hurled up at various stages in the straight as well. That's the filly that come to Sydney and was pretty well outclassed. So I think this probably emphasises the fillies have got the wood. The Sydney fillies got the wood on the Melbourne fillies, but there's some nice ones there.
Now, you currently with CrownBet.com.au and this has been a race that's attracted plenty of attention all week. We have $4 the field at the moment. Archives is our favourite, $6
into $4.80. A big field to have a look at here in the...
Caught them quite well too, and down on the inside, Yulong Xinghui, one of the first to bounce out of the stalls with Saracino out 3 wide and Revolving Door in the middle. They show the way from Archives coming over into 4th placing, and then trailed about a length and a half away Evacuation. Getting who holds the lead about a length in front with 800 left to go. Revolving Door is second, a length and a half to Archives. Posied up third outside Saracino. They're about a length and a half on Hartnell, and then Sacred Elixir down on the inside with Evacuation caught 3 and 4 wide on the move. Followed then by Seabirds next in the field with 600 metres left to go. BJ's Choice right around the outside. Then Violate and Wasn't Me as they bunch up around the home turn. I'm telling you, right off the course, and then So Sabon and Valodaro. Yulong Xinghui for home, leading narrowly from Revolving Door on the outside. Hartnell coming on the white blinkers and Archives in the middle. Saracino right behind them trying to find a way clear. Then Sacred Elixir and Seabirds is on the outside starting to soak up. Revolving Door dash to the front, 100 metres to go. Sacred Elixir and Seabirds are coming. Revolving Door in front of Sacred Elixir and Seabirds, and then Wasn't Me. Sacred Elixir died, got him. Sacred Elixir grabbed Revolving Door to score in the last hop. Close for third. Wasn't Me's up there with Saracino and Seabirds out wider. Next in, So Sabon, and they were followed by Violate. Next to finish in the race, Archives, if I hadn't called him over, followed in by Hartnell, Seabirds, and then came Yulong Xinghui. Evacuation had a tough run from a wide draw, and he's back there with Valiano, a couple more, I'm telling you. And last in, BJ's Choice.
Oh, that is a big win to Sacred Elixir. Tough first up for trainer Tony Pike and also Damien Lane. He just outstayed them. He outguts them in the last 100 metres. And
massive reshuffling to come up, although he is right up in the markets for races, in particular the Derby going forward. But a bonus win at 1,400 metres, I think. Revolving...
Dominant winner during the Brisbane Carnival. Here he is first up. He's sitting midfield. He's underdone. Whatever he does here, I mean, he could be a factor in a Cox Plate. He can be a factor in the Derby. And whatever he does here is a bonus, and yet somehow Brandy still wins.
And Tony Pike was almost just pleasantly surprised with the performance after the win. He knew the horse was in terrific order, but he was just speaking with pre-race, he was having a little bit of trepidation whether Caulfield was going to be this horse's right track and whether 1,400 metres was just going to be a touch too sharp, but he was able to overcome both and was really strong through the line, and you'd imagine he's got as much, if not more, improvement to come than any of these horses that he raced against yesterday.
The 600, the only two were Revolving Door and Sacred Elixir. You look back at, I was on same as you, Revolving Door, but I look back and I saw Sacred Elixir thinking, it's wending its way through the field. And I think the pleasing thing for Tony Pike, Zaraf, is as much as that was a big win up in Brisbane, it was on that asterisk track, Eagle Farm, and the form hadn't been tested properly, so I think he had to answer the question of whether that race was any good or not in Brisbane. So.
Yeah, when Damien Lane secured the ride on him in 2 weeks' time in the Caulfield Guineas, because Zach Purton unable to come back on that occasion.
Sky Racing, and you've seen the Winter Wonders, which have been played over and over and over again at every opportunity. How many times have I interviewed Tony Pike with Sacred Elixir? We left Brisbane thinking this horse was pretty good, and a little bit forgotten yesterday.
Well, I think they thought he'd be out-sprinted at this distance, and he's a big track horse, which he is. But the thing is, he's a good horse, and good horses find a way. And he's off that, that winter break, which is always an advantage with a shortish break, and he was very, very good there. There's only upside to him. There's no doubt about it. Look. The other Sydney horse, Evacuation, I thought that was a bit of a forgive run. He was wide, and he was only beaten a couple of lengths there. Revolving Rock was pretty good. Violate got held up there in the straight and wasn't extended, so he could be a sleeper as well. But it's all about the winner.
I thought Saracino as well just couldn't get that momentum into the straight that a horse like him needs as well, so I wouldn't be dropping off him completely.
They just got a little distance with him at a mile, though.
Right, there's that Caulfield Guineas market again, which we've seen. Hellbent was pretty good yesterday.
9.50 when these markets came out, and there was early early money for Mr. Individual, which came out $31. 13 is the price now. But Counterattack, an easing favourite in the Sir Rupert Clark Stakes, which is our next.
Price fluctuations. We see Counterattack just a little easy, $3.80 out to $4. Bon Aurum, it's been well back this morning, is into $4.40, and then Voodoo Lad at $5.50.
That's cents now, and as we look through the rest of the market, well, there's been really strong money for Bon Aurum throughout. $4.40 is the price now, and that is steady from where we opened up.
And Well Sprung was the horse who missed it by about a length and a half. Tim's caught away quickly in company with Tavachi, who's up there, and Extravagant bounced out of the machine quickly, and so too Mr. Individual, followed by Jungle Edge. But settling fully, Mr. Individual worked up on the outside and took the lead by a neck to Tim's Court. Round the outside, Jungle Edge declares them on, and Extravagant goes with him, and they race to the lead together now. Back behind them, Tim's Court, Tavachi, Counterattack, caught a little bit deep. About 2 lengths away, Fast and Rocking, Bon Aurum and Voodoo Lad out wider. A length and a half, Tilapia, Butterweir, and at the end of the field, Rungipo on the outside of Well Sprung. Down the side at the 700 metres, and Extravagant's done some work, but he led by Nick Jungle Edge, who's fired up second. A length and a half away in the field is on the outside now. Counterattack, he's been caught deep, but he strides up. In behind them then is Tim's Court, followed by Bon Aurum. Mr. Individual's off the bit, coming towards the home turn, and then Fast and Rocking, Tavachi and Voodoo Lad out very wide. Into the straight, Extravagant from on the outside. Counterattack, and Bon Aurum works his way into the clear on the outside. In the straight now, and Fast and Rocking disappointed for a run. Bon Aurum pounced on the lead at the 200 from Counterattack. Voodoo Lad finishing off well, and then Tavachi. Bon Aurum in front though, from on the outside, Voodoo Lad and Fast and Rocking. Bon Aurum pulls it all out though, and Bon Aurum won it. A neck to Voodoo Lad. Third placing goes to Fast and Rocking, followed by Thames Court. Then came Counterattack, and behind those was Tilapia, Tavachi out wider on the course, followed by Mr. Individual, and then Butterweir Well Sprung. Extravagant dropped out, Rungipo well back, and Jungle Edge.
Great scenes from the connections, and Kieran Maher, that's him there in the middle. He has won another Group 1, Bon Aurum, and that's a great training performance. Third up today. He targeted this race. He won on this day last year, and that was a lovely ride from Kieran McAvoy. Kieran Maher said he's
Melbourne on the big days and winning. He's also had a little bit to do with won the Guineas Prelude last year, so nice to be back on him. Kieran Maher has had so much ride, and he's shown that we've shown that all prep. Today's win was pretty good. We had a nice run with some cover behind Counterattack, who I thought was the one to beat. Only 52 on his back. We were full of running when I asked him, so yeah, it's good buzz to win another one. Well done.
It was a great ride by Macca. He was very patient, got him in that 3 wide line where he likes to be, and really brought him on. But I'd just really like to thank our team.
And he rode Bon Aurum an absolute treat here.
He did. He's always been a great rider, Kieran, and
very close to your heart.
Oh, certainly, yeah. Certainly. We had a lot of luck together. 2 or 3 or 4 Group 1s together. So, Blue Diamond, Melbourne Cup, of course. So,
but just at this point of the race, Mike, your horse Tavachi was just sort of getting to the back of Bon Aurum, but probably just wasn't able to get there as soon as he would have liked.
Yeah. Look, he followed the wrong horse in the finish. Bon Aurum was sort of behind him and getting and following Counterattack, and we were following Mr. Individual, and he was gone a long way out, and we just lost a couple of lengths there before the turn that we didn't really need to. He probably wants to go a mile now, my bloke, and it's just the sort of run he didn't really need.
Chris Parnham was devastated after the defeat. My first impression was, well,
he was on Voodoo Lad.
Yeah, first impression was, well, I've just missed it for Group 1 and I'm disappointed. But Darren wasn't savage on him, but Darren did say he should have won and he missed the boat. We'd have to go back over that tape and have a look and work out exactly where he got it wrong.
We can do that.
Yeah. He seemed to not quite tack onto the back of the winner close enough in the race.
I think it was a point where Darren's frustration was coming, is that Chris was in the 3 wide line, or basically on the back of Counterattack when he popped off, and he had Bon Aurum back to his inside, and then through it's sort of
horse number 7. You can see in the middle of the field.
It was before this, because he had Bon Aurum inside him, and then within sort of 100 metres, then Bon Aurum had gone from inside him to in front of him, and then he was chasing, and that was the frustration of Darren, that he would have hoped that he could have kept Bon Aurum back to his inside in the pocket. He would have been in that spot.
And the old tea leaf, fast and rocking. Basta got off and said should have won.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, but does that mean you want to beat him next
It's a
time?
game of inches, isn't it? We've had 4 Group 1s in Victoria. Lindsay Park Racing, no wins, but 4 placings.
Yeah,
they just keep running in the minor money.
Do you go to a tour rack with yours, Mike Savage?
Yeah, we will. Look, he's...
I can imagine, Brent, he's one of the many fallout from this race.
Yeah, well, extravagance is the sort of disappointment, no doubt, and I'd be surprised if we see him race again during the Melbourne Spring Carnival, because that was the
man, Kieran Maher. He's just going from strength to strength.
Yeah, well, this horse is low flying, isn't he? Aurum was well ridden by Kieran yesterday, and he looked always in control. The favourite counter-attack, well, he just was too fresh. He wanted to pull his head off, would race far too aggressive. He's better ridden with cover, and he's probably better with a little jar out of the track. But he was found out yesterday with a tough run. Voodoo Lad, he's going well, but it's all about the winner here, Aurum, who's put a couple of really solid wins together now, and yeah, I don't know what the next step with him is, but it's certainly he's an in-form horse.
So yeah, Nick.
Yeah, I just thought Kieran shut the door nicely. What's the David Moody horse there, guys? And just in behind Kieran on Aurum, he gave him a look. It was like Moir and Bowman with McIntosh and counter-attack a couple of weeks ago. He gave him a look at the gap at the top of the straight and then shut the door on him right away. It was a great ride by Kieran.
The Underwood Stakes.
Market with crownbet.com.au, and it has been a real good go throughout betting Blackheart Bart, and that money's continued now. $2.40 is the current price with Crownbet on the favourite. $2.70 was the best that you've seen at any stage, but gets into $2.40 now. Awesome Rock's had plenty of supporters. In a full point from $6.50 this morning, $8 when the market came out, and Lucia Valentina has been a drifter, and that continues to...
Has been $2.50, got as low as $2.35, just out to $2.40 now, and the other runner in the market, Lucia Valentina, has been a little easy, $4.40 out to $5, maybe some concern about the firmness of the track.
Cents, and that is a further 10 cents in over the last few minutes, so good cash on the favourite. Awesome Rock.
They're up. Lucia Valentina in the middle of the field. Prince of Penzance straight out the back. Hiyoshi and Jack and Obey, the stablemates, led early from the cleaner out wide, and Blackheart Bart's going to slot in fourth, followed by Awesome Rock. He back on the inside. How would be thy name, Lucia Valentina, and they're followed by Tavago. Back on the inside, Prince of Penzance and Tarzino last. So the clean, as they make their way down past the 1,000-metre mark, the cleaner starting to string this field out, leads by about 3.5. Jack and Obey. Similar margin, Blackheart Bart third outside Hiyoshi. 2 lengths to Awesome Rock, 1.5 lengths then to How Would Be Thy Name, and Lucia Valentina about 10 off the leader at least as they go by the 800 metres, and then Prince of Penzance and Tarzino's on the rails with Tavago down the side, and the cleaner by 3 lengths as he races towards the 600 metres, maybe a little more to Jack and Obey. 3 lengths to Blackheart Bart. Rawilla still sitting fairly quietly there. Hiyoshi being shunted along on the inside, and then Awesome Rock followed Lucia Valentina, How Would Be Thy Name, Tarzino, Prince of Penzance, and Tavago's off the bit. So around the turn, and the cleaner straightened up by 2, Jack and Obey. Blackheart Bart poised for his run, then Hiyoshi followed by Awesome Rock. Lucia Valentina is battling away behind them, but Blackheart Bart went to the 200, claimed the lead from the cleaner. Jack and Obey is boxing on well with Hiyoshi, and then Lucia Valentina, but Blackheart Bart is all too good. Races away and scored by 2.5 Hiyoshi. Photo third, Lucia Valentina or Jack and Obey. Then the cleaner, Awesome Rock. Back behind them to finish was How Would Be Thy Name, who finished just in front of Tarzino and Prince of Penzance, and a long last in it is Tavago.
Blackheart Bart, he was too good, too strong. Bring on the Cox Plate and Winx now. That was an outstanding win. No issues with the 1800. The next question is the 2040 at Moonee Valley, and a mouth-watering clash with Winx. Brad Rawilla, a lovely ride. You were never in
today. You gave him a peach of a ride, Brad.
Yeah, appreciate it, Sam. We did. He had a good run, and he sort of did get a little bit on the bridle at one point, but then once I got his rhythm, couldn't have been happier down the side, and then again I'm sort of getting there too soon, but he was just doing it, flowing and travelling. No point waiting for him on a good horse.
When he takes...
See him run through the line like that. I never had any doubts about the 1800. I thought he ran really well last start. He was just beaten by a better horse on the day, and he'd come on a lot since then, and he was strong through the line, so head to the Caulfield Stakes now and then see what happens after that, I guess.
It'll be a pretty good clash with Winx. You'll get to know sort of where you are at that stage at the 2,000 metres. What was the most promising thing out of today's run for you?
Oh, just the way he ran through the line, and he'd he thinking that you're going to be competitive with him.
And obviously he's still got a fair bit of improvement to come. He's not screwed right down just yet.
Oh, that'd have him right where we want him now. You know,
when Winx comes to Melbourne, Blackheart Bart will get his opportunity to test his Cox Plate credentials before they get that opportunity to go to Moonee Valley. So the Cox Plate may be still a month away, but we're going to see basically a rerun in 2 weeks' time.
Oh, let's sexy up this panel because a man who...
She in the
bright
green. What's that colour again? Fluorescent. And his comment afterwards, I asked him about Blackheart Bart, and he just said he was awesome. He was awesome. It wasn't the fact that he beat a super A-grade field, it was the way he did it. The speed, as you can see, Richo is really ferocious as they keep building it up. He rode it comfortably and then sprinted away, and that's what Craig Williams was most impressed by. When I asked him about Winx, he said, why not? You know, he's got all the tools, you know, so
I think having the cleaner in the race yesterday is the best thing for Blackheart Bart, because as we saw in the Mackay Diva, when the tempo wasn't as fast, that's when he got over racing and sort of got really keen and probably dulled his finish, but he was able to drop his head there and relax and then just surge through the line. So I would imagine Connections would be hoping everywhere the cleaner goes, he'd be hoping to give him a bit of a bunny, but whether he gets that in 2 weeks' time, I don't think so.
He's just a tradesman, isn't he? Like, even his galloping action, Mike, he just whacks away and gets the job done, doesn't he? There's nothing flash about him, is there?
Yeah, did right. You'd think the Valley would suit him too, because they usually run the Cox Plate truly as a rule, so that should suit him.
Yeah, he's hard to get a line on because I think...
I reckon we overanalyse sometimes too.
Yeah,
like,
it's a fair call.
Yeah, for instance, Awesome Rock got beaten 4 lengths yesterday, and he was a super impressive Dato winner at his previous start. I mean, that's strong. That's not weak. That's strong enough, isn't it?
Am I being unfair to say it's not a vintage Underwood field?
Yeah, look, I suppose on horses' performances and they're going into it, it probably was as good as what we've seen before. You know, when you had the long rows and those sort of horses that were here already. Yeah. Winx has avoided getting here and at the stage, and you know, she's a pin-up horse, and I suppose without her, you always question the form a little bit.
It's a bit like this
performance. He stepped up.
I thought he ran well. Surging towards second pick was sort of up around the $11, $13 mark.
Yeah, well, let's just also look at the Caulfield Stakes. We've got a little market here, Winx v Blackheart Bart. And it's not as simple as that, but at the moment it's $1.50 Winx, $2.50 Blackheart.
I'd be happy to be on the 150 Winx.
Yeah, it's so
train stayers. Tavago, I'm worried about Tavago, but let's look at Tarzino and Prince of Penzance. We shouldn't be judging them on weight for age 1,800 metres, surely.
Look, history will tell you that a lot of those horses, and Bart did it for a long time, were sitting around the weight for age races where they really couldn't win. Yeah. When he knew they were going to make the field and that, and then come the grand final time, they were right. Yeah. So, you know...
In modern... OK, $50. You want to take Blackheart Bart? You want to follow Maddie's lead with Hartnell at $9? Is Highland Real coming? Vadamos is about 30s into a 10-to-1 chance now.
Lee Friedman was pumping him right up last week.
Serious horse. Don't worry about that.
What do you make of Hartnell? What would you run him in, Mike?
Which corner were you in? The Victorians didn't give up. The punters didn't give up on Blackheart Bart, despite his defeat in the Mackay Diva. Here he is at 1,800.
He was backed as if unbeatable, and he raced as if he was unbeatable. He chased down what looked to be a good, solid speed up front, but yeah, look, how did we doubt him? How did I doubt him? You know, I thought he just didn't finish off at the mile last time. But back to Caulfield yesterday, probably not as testing as Flemington and a few things, but look, he was very dominant. I thought Lucia was pretty good. She was just warming up when it was all over, and it looked a hard race for backmarkers. It's funny when the horses just wind into their work and get a rolling tempo like that. Look at the Cup winner and the 2 Derby winners out the back here. They're on notice, aren't they? Yeah. You know, we get 2 Derby winners, and he's obviously Tavago's in trouble, and so's Tarzino. And Prince of Penzance, you would have expected a little more from him there as well. So, a funny race, how they just kept blending, and made it nearly impossible for backmarkers, which is unusual.
Well, this Cox Play, to go through them, Caulfield Cup first of all, Hartnell, Willie won it, won't he? Jameka at $6.50, and Scottish is highly regarded at $13. So that's the That's the Caulfield Cup.
I would think
$13 now, Blackheart Bart. Lucia Valentina, $15. She's odds on Winx and Hartnell. Well, he's still in the mix for that race.
He certainly is, and certainly. So stay tuned.
In this particular event as well. Real Love is very genuine and will be hard to beat, no doubt. I think Arab Dawn might...
To $3.40 now, so it was $3.50 into $3.40 with another $5,000 bet on that. So what that means is Tom Melbourne's gone out to $4.40 and Observational out from the $3.80 to the $4.20.
Field early, and Chayu began quickly on the inside. Tom Melbourne deeper out, Bold Sniper wider still, and Tarquin. They're the three leaders ahead of Chayu. Magnapel right with that leading group of horses out wide, and on gallop came Tarquin. Worse in midfield over on the outside of Go Dreaming, and they're 2.5 lengths on the fave Real Love, who's 2 lengths in front of Observational, 3/4 to Arab Dawn, and a length away is Morris. Around the 800 metres turn they go now, and Tom Melbourne the leader. He might have backed the tempo off a bit here. He's about a length in front. Bold Sniper is second, a length and a half away is Chayu. Tarquin taking off round Magnapel, and then Go Dreaming, followed by Real Love, who's about to pull out and get going, and behind her is Observational, hard ridden by Oliver at the moment, with Arab Dawn on his outside, and Morris was last of all. Tom Melbourne the leader, down about 450 to go. Tarquin strode to second, a length and a half away. Real Love is winding up well. Here comes the favourite on the outside. She's really hitting her straps now, and they're 3 lengths on Morris from the back of the field, starting to run on well. Around the bend, and Real Love has Tom Melbourne in her sights, and now in her rear vision mirror as she dashes away. Real Love from Tom Melbourne. Morris running on down the outside, but Real Love about 3 lengths in front of Morris is running on well, but the favourite too good. Real Love romped it in from Morris. Tarquin third, Go Dreaming fourth, and then Tom Melbourne and Observational, followed by Arab Dawn. Back behind those to finish in the race was Bold Sniper, Chayu and Magnapel.
That's how you want the favourite to win. Absolutely bolts in there, and Darren Weir just misses in the previous with Ken's Dream, and the class comes to the top here. This is a mare who's had 58 kilos. She was 4 above the minimum in the famous colours of Bob Peters. She won the JRA Cup in Doomben. She wins the JRA Cup here at Moonee Valley. She went on to win the Premier.
Peters' mare, Real Love, is just simply flying, isn't she? Didn't she just truck into this race and said, right here, you're thinking, have a look at the rest of them inside, and Barbara Willer's just making ground out wide under her own steam. There's Tom Melbourne leading. She gave weight to the entire field here, this mare, at 58, and she drops to 51.5 before a penalty in the Caulfield Cup.
Yeah, she was very good first up in the Dardo Tan behind Awesome Rock, where she finished second, and maybe had just a touch of a flat run there, second up in the Naturalism, where she never really sort of showed the same level of turn of foot that she showed at the concluding stages here. But back to Moonee Valley at the 2,000 metres again, and now heads to the Caulfield Cup. Whether she gets a penalty on Monday, we'll find out from Greg Carpenter at Racing Victoria. But she seems to be a mare who's racing in good heart. We know she excels at that 1.5 mile distance, and whether or not she can win a Caulfield Cup, I'd sort of be questioning, but she's going to be in the race with no weight on her back.
Yeah, I reckon when you get this close to the Caulfield Cup, it can become a fairly simple equation. She flogged them, she gets a lot.
Well, Inference is the one they wanted to back early, and Hey Doc is the one they want to back late. We just heard from Tony McAvoy, but Inference is holding its price nicely at the $3.80. Hey Doc got out from $4.80, now back into $4.20, so some late money coming for that. Detective also. This is the Stutt Stakes over 1,600 metre Group 2 for the 3-year-olds. First run.
And Haydock, one of the first to jump on the inside. Inference was a little bit slow to move. Tessera got out quickly. In the early stages, Detective is up there, and back to the bowler from the extreme outside with his blinkers on, is driving up towards the front runner. Followed by Mandalay Bay and Kaching, and the Rich Fishers last of all. Back to the bowler was a new leader down the side, and he's about a length in front now from Detective, who's quickly come away from the rail, and right in behind them still is Manhattan Street. Tessera's getting a perfect trail, fourth on the outside for Williams in front of Haydock, and they're followed by Inference. Behind those horses then is Land of Plenty, under hard pressure but trying to respond, and then Picks Chamber. About 2 lengths further back came Kaching, starting to work into the race. Around the bend these leaders have come back, and it's Haydock and Tessera with Detective. They've gone to the lead now, ahead of back to the bowler. Land of Plenty, Picks Chamber, and then Kaching out wide, but Haydock shot to the lead for Curry. It's Haydock opening 2 lengths, 3 lengths in front of Detective, Tessera, and then Land of Plenty and Kaching. Haydock in front with 100 to go. Down the outside, Landed Plenty with loping strides, but Haydock is too good. Haydock beat Landed Plenty. Kaching got up for third in a photo from Inference and Detective. Then Mandalay Bay, followed by Tessera, Pix Chamber. Then came the Rich Fisher. Behind those to finish in the race. Second last to go over the line back to the bowler, and last in Manhattan Street.
Well, Haydock had a second acceptance for the Caulfield Guineas. Will they back him up for a Caulfield Guineas? We'll ask the question to Tony McAvoy. He's also been nominated for a derby, and this son of Dewporth, ever since he's been
was suspended. Give us the update.
So
there.
he's suspended yesterday.
Give us the update.
So he's suspended yesterday at Caulfield, and has elected to take his suspension straight away. So he misses his rides this afternoon at Flemington in a bid to try and get back for Haydock in the Guineas next week. Whether Haydock can sort of transfer this form to the better colts that he'll take on, like the Sacred Elixirs and Impending and Divine Prophet, who come down from Sydney, will still remain to be seen. But he put this field away pretty arrogantly and seems to be racing very, very well this preparation.
And Kaching is racing really well from a derby point of view. That's it in the first light racing blue and gold colours.
That's what I was about to say. Kieran Maher's won the last two Oakses. It might be nearly time for a derby.
Yeah, he's got that boy ticking over nicely. I mean, Haydock is still in races like the Derby, but by Dewporth, I mean, he's probably a miler, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I think the plan is to back him up next week in the Guineas and give him his opportunity. So,
chatting to Grace before, but Don't Doubt Mama, best back runner in the race, into $3.20. Early markets was $4.80, so a good size go this for Don't Doubt Mama. Rising Romance is a drifter, $2.90, now out to $3.80, so not much happening for the top weight. Miss Rose Delago holding its price nicely at 2005, and its first running as a Group 2 was won by Flower John. It's been 100.
Don't Doubt Mama jumping away evenly. Rising Romance a little bit slow. She's actually last of all as they settle into stride. Iggy McCool had got out well, so did Clemency. Miss Rose Delago from deep out, Jessie Bell. Rising Romance, Baby Don't Cry, and Don't Doubt Mama last on the outside. Miss Rose Delago's having a lovely run tonight, running to the 800 metres turn, almost a length to Caniana, who'd been caught a little bit deep and now moves to second. Two lengths Sabo Levy, Jessie Bell, 1.5 then to Rising Romance, who's peeled out 3 wide up the side around Clemency and Iggy McCool. Then Don't Doubt Mama and Baby Don't Cry is now relegated to last at the 600 metres, and Miss Rose Delago rolling along 1.5 lengths clear from Caniana. Jessie Bell, say Bolavi, asked for a run now, and here comes Rising Romance peeling to the outside to run on, and Don't Doubt Mama's got onto her back to try and work home around the turn. Miss Rose Delago from Caniana, say Bolavi, Jessie Bell waiting on the run, and Rising Romance and Don't Doubt Mama are going to be the swoopers. Miss Rose Delago tackled by Caniana. Don't Doubt Mama now starts to flash home on the outside. Miss Rose Delago, Caniana, Don't Doubt Mama mows a lot of them down, and Don't Doubt Mama got there by a nick to Caniana, a big second. Miss Rose Delago third, close fourth. Sailor Bees up there in company with Rising Romance, and with those was Jessie Bell, clear of Iggy McCool, and then a long break in the field to Baby Don't Cry and Clemency.
Oh, she's just simply a really good mare, isn't she? Don't Doubt Mama. They keep doubting her, but she just keeps winning. $3.40 and $1.40. Caniana, well, she was up in grade from 84 grade, and she coped with that. Dwayne Dunn punches the air.
Hey, hopefully it's not too far away.
The McAvoy camp are flying, their horses going so well.
On Friday night, Don't Doubt Mama is an absolute beauty, isn't she? She comes from the rear of the field. Miss Rose Delago is leading. Rising Romance in the middle of the field. A Group 1 performer. Where both of those mares are at now is going to be a big question. And Brent, I don't know if you've got a fallout there, but Don't Doubt Mama en routes towards the mire was impressive.
Yeah, well, there's no real dominant mare as such. There's no sort of real...
It's probably her, isn't it?
Well, she has to be, because there's question marks around Ascadelia and sort of when she's going to be able to come back to the races. And heading towards the big Group 1 at Flemington on Derby Day, she looks to be the one that's performed very well at Flemington in the past. She loves the mile, and the tempo of this race wasn't really suited for those to charge on from the back. The leaders had their opportunity to kick and win, and she was able to pick them up and run straight past them. She's an exciting talent.
Sometimes you get a lovely free tip at the racetrack too, don't you? Because Tony McAvoy, we'll show it as well, but he won the previous race and said, well, this thing... well, it was actually a reverse tip in a way, wasn't it? Because it flogged Don't Doubt Mama, so it might have actually cast a bit of doubt. Yeah, Haydock, yeah. So,
gee, he was impressive too, wasn't he?
It's away, Matty, from the big Group 1.
And it's all about Chautauqua. All our major bets are on Chautauqua. You could have got $2.25, $2.30 when we started our broadcast tonight, but now you're getting $2.05. So Chautauqua back to a closer price that we thought. We thought it'd be around even money, or maybe even into the red. Chautauqua. Extreme Choice still there at $4.60. Second best back runner, The Buff, The Legend at $7. Lucky Hustler $6.50 out to $9.50. Of the others, Wild Rain had some specking early. 23 back into.
Dunn combining with Chautauqua. He'll make his way into the mounting yard with the other best sprinters that we have in Australia at the moment, or are they? We're going to line them all up eventually in the last day of the carnival, aren't we? On 3 occasions. He won in 2012 when it was a Group 2 over 1,200, and then he came back 2 years later. He won it again over 1,200 as a Group 1, and then he won it last year over 1,000 metres as a Group 1. He is buffering.
Well,
he's won 7.2 million. Oh, well done. Here is, well, the highest rated sprinter in the world in Chautauqua. He hasn't raced since May, when he just took our breath away, winning the chairman's sprint at Group 1 level at Chatin.
Yeah, he's
10 3-year-olds in the last 30 years have won this race. However, none have won it since 2005.
That's interesting, isn't it? So there's been a bit of a gap, but Extreme Choice is very talented against its own age group last sprinter in ratings, and I think will be too good for this field. But I think Heatherly could run a big race at odds. Extreme Choice warrants plenty of respect.
1,000 bets at 10,000, bets at 10,000, into the red where we expected Chautauqua to be now. $1.95, so the $2.30 is just, it seems so long ago now, Richo.
Set. Lights are on. They're off. Buffering flew out of the stalls, and so did Wild Rain. Chautauqua straight out the back. Ball of Muscle got away quickly, and so did Redzel. Buffering having a fair bit of work to do. Out wide, he's just the leader, but Ball of Muscle kicks up. Redzel just keeping them all working, holding the fence. 2 lengths further back, Wild Rain. Heatherly not too far away. She's jumped better tonight. They're followed by Chloe in Paris, Lucky Hustler. 2 lengths Extreme Choice, and 2 lengths away Chautauqua. As they went through the gap, Ball of Muscle by a length to Buffering, who's got over, and now Redzel, Wild Rain 4th. Heatherly 5th, held up from Lucky Hustler. Then Chloe in Paris, followed then by Extreme Choice. Chautauqua easing out about 5 wide. He's got 5 or 6 to make up. Round the turn, Ball of Muscle, Buffering. Wild Rain claimed them. Chautauqua peeled right to the outside. Wild Rain in front. Heatherly's coming after it. Wild Rain and Heatherly, and now Extreme Choice is no Chautauqua. Extreme Choice, the 3-year-old flies home. Extreme Choice got up to win from either Wild Rain or Heatherly, and Buffering might hold 4th. Chautauqua 5th. What happened? What happened to the great one? Back behind those, Ball of Muscle and Redzel, Chloe in Paris and Lucky Hustler.
What a win by a 3-year-old. The first 3-year-old since 2005. And we've got an unbelievable colt on our hands here. Craig Newitt has been going through a real tough time at the moment. He wins his 33rd Group 1. And the celebrations go wild here for Mick Price. They won the race a couple of years ago with Samaretti. What a win here to Extreme Choice. The superstar 2-year-old is now a star 3-year-old.
Oh, isn't he? What a great performance. And
how good is he?
He's a beauty, mate. He relaxed beautifully, travelled good. I felt the grey horse starting to make his run about the 500. We went at the same time, and the further he was going, the further he was getting away.
He's so tough, this horse, when you put him under.
A better horse this time in, physical-wise, and his work been great leading into it, and it's just great to get a win like that with him.
And wins like this for.
There's the horse. That's the colt. You know, that's him. It's a very tough race, good speed on it, some fantastic horses in it, and he beat him. So, you know, he's a stud colt, and that's what this race was all about.
The plan that you've put together to run him here tonight has been phenomenal, and it's came off, but another string to his bow. You wanted him to be ridden quiet tonight, and you wanted him to hit the line with the 52 kilos.
Oh, yeah, but every race is different, isn't it? I mean, had we drawn barrier 4, I probably would have come off the speed, but not been back as such, you know. Every race you've got to sort of have your thinking cap on and do your best with what you've got, and look, you know what, yesterday morning I wasn't running from 9 out of 9 and had another think and spoke to a few people and spoke to Craig Newitt and had a look at speed maps, and in the end we just thought, well, it is a Group 1 and didn't really want to take a backward step on him, and he's just, you know, that's the horse. He's a good colt, and he just proved tonight he's a real stud colt. Yep.
Moir Stakes, and we have a look at the times. Oh, that was a good 4 track, but gee, they didn't run time here, Rob. And there's your mighty Buff. He's burnt out, and there's Ball of Muscle inside, and also Red Zell. What are you thinking here?
In trouble. 3 deep. Damien's asked Buff the question to go forward and try and cross, and he couldn't do it. So the work that he was doing here now, and although it didn't look like they were going that hard.
First 100 metres might have been fast, though, because they did kick up quickly inside.
But look at Chautauqua. He's off the bit trying to keep up.
But we've seen that from him in the past, and he's been able to sort of overcome it. Whether I still thought he was entitled, like even though he got beat, I was still thinking he might run 2nd or 3rd. The fact that he was beaten by Heatherly and Wild Rain, what question does that mean? Was he a little bit underdone?
Well, is he half a length off the winner? Have a look at the acceleration of Extreme Choice. We'll watch it a few times and we'll concentrate on the Buff as well.
It's a great tactic to peel back with Extreme Choice too. That was the winning move.
But look at the gap. Yeah. Top of the straight, there was, what, a half a length between them? Look at the gap in the end. He is a really quality 3-year-old.
You know the thing that worries me about Chautauqua a little bit, and I've spoken to 1 or 2 trainers, so it's not just a mug view in a way, and I'm interested in Rob's view. Every time he goes around, he has to really bust a gut to rein him in. And, you know, in an ideal world, you'd probably find some nice soft 1400 metre races around him, but they're just not there,
Does he
are they?
bust a gut? Because he sits back and does.
Well,
does
he has to run an amazing sectional every time and shuffle along to keep in touch as well.
What's
so he's
harder?
not bludging. He's shuffling along to keep in touch and then finishing off.
What's harder to do, though, Rob? The way your boy does it or the way Chautauqua does it?
Yeah, good question, and I don't think there's a right answer, to be honest. I mean, every race is different. We know this one was run in relatively slow time, you know, 58.5. Full credit to Excellent Choice. That was just a booming win, 52 kilos as opposed to the 58.5 of our boys. But, look, he was brilliant. He was dominant to do that. As I said, look, I'm not making...
Aliens. And Craig Newitt said after the race that Lincoln Rupee, Miss Andretti, he's ridden. This horse gave him that feel of speed. It was unbelievable.
Well, his only defeat came in the Golden Slipper when he missed the start. And his run was still quite strong. So we're talking about a horse who's only had limited experiences on the racetrack. He's won 2 Group 1s in a Blue Diamond and a 3-year-old beating the older horses in a Moir Stakes. He's a pretty exciting talent.
Where's he going to go to start? Victoria? Or
We had the old champs buffering back. We had the champ, Chautauqua, and we had a brilliant 3-year-old blow them all away.
Yeah, incredible. You know, it's amazing the situation they're in now that's just made this Coolmore. Let's just have a look at it, how it unfolds.
Well, here is Extreme Choice winning the Moir, obviously going towards the Coolmore with a stern, with Russian Revolution. And it's just shaping up.
And they rode him back. You know, he's not just a one-trick pony. He was ridden back, and look at this turn of speed, running away from Chautauqua. I think the key to him now, he's come back, he's proved himself, he's run time, he's beat the older horses at weight for age. I think the 2 champs, Chautauqua and Buffering, are more 1,200 metre horses now. The young gun was too slick from there, so it's exciting. It's exciting, and, you know, moving on. Heatherly bled from both nostrils there, unfortunately, so she's out for 3 months.
So what we're looking at here is a stern goes straight in to the Coolmore, it looks like, same with Capitalist and Extreme Choice and Russian Revolution.
Wow.
Now, the horse starts, and if you haven't already noticed, the 3-year-olds are just toweling up the older horses in every division, just about, even in the midweeks.
Just on... To finish off with a bang, it's an exciting couple of hours coming up here at Royal Randwick.
He's in the yard, the favourite.
Oh, he's my favourite this spring. He's an absolutely beautiful horse, Astern. Look, I think the wind is really starting to play havoc with the pace in these races. No one wants to lead. Everyone wants to take a sit. So the pace is dropping in races, and once that happens, it becomes a bit of a lottery.
Number 1 Astern, the favourite, James McDonald, John O'Shea.
Well, we know he's a star. He's an outstanding colt. He showed one run on a soft 7 track. We're about to find out. The Stutt, I think... He supported
a hot favourite about to go forward. He's been an early arrival at the start, Astern. He's been there for about 6 minutes, waiting for the others to arrive, and Astern goes forward. The hot favourite, $1.40 and Russian Revolution has been supported. to keep his unbeaten record intact. The red light's on for the running of the star, Roman Consul. 1,200 metres, astern 5-2 on. And they're off and racing, and the Stearns jumped out fairly. Russian Revolution on the outside, jumped out with his head on his chest, and he's going to lead. Mount Panorama's railing through, showing a bit of zip, and Capitalist is there in third. Meanwhile, the Stearns being eased right back to last. Nikita's Flash Fibbing in front of him, and McDonald's got the colt to switch off last, so he's out of this headwind, and Russian Revolution will have to take it up. Out by a length, Mount Panorama came off the fence, so Blake Shin's getting plenty of wind resistance on Capitalist third the rail. Two further back to Flash Fibian from Nikita's, and Astern is trucking along last of the 600 metres. Russian Revolution looking for 4 out of 4, leads from Mount Panorama. Then the slipper winner Capitalist just waiting for the run to open up from Flash Fibian. Astern is 3 lengths away. He's really starting to go through his gears on the outside. Russian Revolution tries to kick. Capitalist gets his chance. Astern though is coming on the outside. Russian Revolution's giving a big side. Astern, he's going to have to dig in. He'll need to produce. Astern's going to Russian Revolution. Russian Revolution just in front. Clings on. Russian Revolution won the Roman Consul from Astern. Capitalist third. Then Nikita's from Flash Fibian and Mount Panorama last.
Russian Revolution remains unbeaten and he leads all the way. The wind has played havoc with runners here today. 4 front runners. He's defied the pattern, and Russian Revolution has held on to beat Astern. He had the mighty finish. It wasn't good enough today.
Yeah, he had a lot of work to do. You thought he was going to do it 3 or 4 times down the straight there, but the old saying, don't underestimate the unbeaten horse, and this horse is a beauty.
Cold in his own right, and his best is ahead of him for sure.
Absolutely. Was it a hard decision to want to lead in this wind here today?
Didn't have much choice. I was the only horse with speed, and
This is the Golden Slipper winner in Capitalist. Russian Revolution, who was unbeaten, goes to the front here with Karen McAvoy with no obvious other leader. Was happy to go to the front. Now, I suppose the big question that all the punters that took the shorts, did James McDonald, who went all the way back to the rear, was he too conservative with Astern? He gave 6 lengths to a quality colt. Could he have settled 3 lengths off him?
I think on face value, you have to say yes, he was conservative, because he set the horse too much of a task and he was beaten. The horse's performance was unbelievable, considering the sectionals that he's run from where he was in that field. But in James' explanation to the stewards, because they were keen to ask the question of why he went so far back and why he was intent on dragging back behind the last horse as a $1.40 favourite, James was of the opinion that this is the plan that we've had with this horse for 6 months. We've been trying to get him to settle. He needs to find cover to race at his best. He said in the small field from where he'd drawn, there was never going to be an opportunity, he thought, if he did go forward, that he was going to find cover. And he didn't want to take the chance that the horse would over-race and then be beaten further than what he was on that occasion.
You know, well, that is all a fair explanation, I reckon.
For the day-to-day integrity of...
Being beaten by a quality colt, don't worry about that. And doesn't it set up the Coolmore? I don't know if you've got a 3-year-old sprinter, Rob, but Russian Revolution, extreme choice.
Time again. That last 600 was 33.33. Yeah. So what has Astern
I think he ran 32.29.
I mean, but really, before the race, Astern's going to run 32.29 the last 600. Well, he's just winning.
And get rolled.
Yeah, I mean...
But you, as a trainer, you would...
And as we praise the winner, Russian Revolution, we point out that Astern broke the clock.
He did. You know, I was disappointed if you took the $1.40, but analysed the race, it was the run of the day. But take nothing away, the winner. He's unbeaten. He makes his own luck. He's a beautiful horse. I've always really liked this horse. You know, he disappointed me when he won in Melbourne. I thought he'd win by panels. And I sort of dropped off him since, but it was a bit silly to do because he's been kept fresh for this race, probably with getting the timing right for the spring in Melbourne. And he fought off, you know, he's run 1.9 here. And he did it from the front into the wind, so take nothing away from him, but just look at these splits. 43.51 the last 800 from Astern. That's just, you can't do that. 32.29 the last 600.
32.29.
Do you want to hear his last 4 sections?
Yeah.
10.86, 10.8, 10.41, 11.08.
That's the damage, the 400, the 200.
He's broken 11 seconds 3 times.
He had a go. He had a go.
That's...
Capitalist,
don't do that.
Capitalist was good, just there was no excuses for him yesterday. It's just that length behind him, but that could change.
Well, back here at Royal Randwick, before we have a look at the runners in the yard for the Group 1 Flight Stakes, you've had a look at the sectionals from the
Airport Flight Stakes, first leg of the quaddie here at Randwick on Tab Epsom Day, Greg.
OK, Bernie's going to...
Line out. And at breaking it is Bridal Lane. Global Glamour was quickly into stride, and Global Glamour's going to make a race of it for the early lead. Puts its head in front from Bridal Lane. Skylark has the lead on her own now. Held together by Clark by a length and a half to Bridal Lane. In third position, Skylark Glow. Woke getting close to the outside from Cezanne, and the Group 1 winning filly Yankee Rose is last and 4 lengths off the leader. Global Glamour down the side of the course, a half in front to Bridal Lane. Then Skylark Glow from Wake just poised to pounce on the outside. Now Blake Shin starts his move on Yankee Rose. He doesn't want to give the filly too much work to do. And Cezanne sits back last and will try and sprint from there. Global Glamour railing hard leads from Bridal Lane. Awoke pulling out. Yankee Rose still being cuddled. Skylark Glow's going through on the fence, and Cezanne's last. Global Glamour with a good lead from Yankee Rose, Cezanne and Skylark Glow. Global Glamour 2 lengths clear from Yankee Rose and Cezanne. He's looking for another Flight Stakes. Global Glamour a length clear. Yankee Rose is trying a hard out. Global Glamour clinging on though, and Global Glamour gets the job done for Clark. Beat the favourite Yankee Rose and Cezanne. Then came Skylark Glow from Awoke, and Bridal Lane was the last in.
Gay Waterhouse wins her 9th Flight Stakes. She won 8 on her own. Today she shares it with her co-trainer, Adrian Bott, and gave nothing else a look in.
Once she topped the rise, she quickened really well. It's going to take a good one to run me down, and thankfully she was strong enough late.
Yeah, well, you had a Group 1 winner
in Sydney yesterday, and well, with the scratching of Oh My Sword, this race changed big time. But let's concentrate on the winner. It is Global Glamour. 40 of the most influential female owners around the world are in this horse. Sophie Magnier accepted the trophy. Seven's Francesca Kamani's involved in the horse, and Gay Waterhouse trains her 136th Group 1, but she does it with Adrian Bott for his very first Group 1. And Tim Clark, it was a sweet ride.
Yeah, and the difference with Global Glamour this week is that they put the barrier blanket on her because she'd been sort of half missing the kick, and that had been putting her out of play, but she jumped cleanly, controlled the race from the front. And Yankee Rose, her second run this preparation, she wasn't able to pick up the winner in the concluding stages. The question mark now is where David Van Dyke and his team go with Yankee Rose. He wants to get to the VRC Oaks, or the Crown Oaks.
Yep.
What path he takes between now and then is still to be decided. I posed it to him a few times.
A crusty coach. He didn't look like we've seen her in the past.
Maybe still acclimatising.
Yeah.
It hasn't been in Queensland all that long, but I still thought her run was brilliant.
It was,
They've run home in 34 and change, so you've got to give a lot of credit to Tim Clark for a brilliantly rated ride in front. But she still hit the line good, so going forward I'd still be confident if you backed her.
She still might be the class film.
Playing havoc with everyone, but by the time we got further into the day, where we didn't think leaders were going to be winning, we had a couple in a row, including this one, Global Glamour.
Yeah, and beautifully rated in front. They put a barrier blanket on her yesterday. She'd had no luck. It's been well documented in the T-Rows when she didn't jump and got sort of hemmed up in the middle of the field there over racing. But she was just rated, even sectionals the whole way through. Yankee Rose was pretty good considering the circumstances. She was back, it was a sprint home, she couldn't go any faster than that, and she still went to the line pretty well, and Cezanne did her thing. She's battled on well, but just a beautifully rated ride and a popular result with the big lady syndicate that owns that horse. She always promised plenty from the time she won her maiden at Kembla Grange. She had an issue, she's come back third up. Beautifully presented, Gay on a big day. What can you say?
Yeah, Gay on a big day. What can you say?
Let's talk about the stats, and we take into account that this day has changed over the years. We used to have 2 days. Big one of the day here. We've got a packed mounting yard. This is the $1 million Tab Epsom. What a race! 13 runners, but packed.
Yeah, incredible race, Greg.
Depth in this race. There's I reckon there's half a dozen horses can win this race, and I feel very confident that Fabrizio will lead. I think that's a possibility.
There's no disadvantage now.
No. Yeah, look, I've said it all. 2, 4, 9 and 8 for me. Everyone's got their opinion. A big group, Randwick Mile. Go for it.
I'm going 9, 2, 1 and 3. I've got number 9. I'm going to go a little bit wide.
Vanbrugh missed the start by a length, and Fabrizio and Le Romain both jumped well. McIntosh was quickly into stride into third, followed by Sons of John. Happy Clapper and Dibiani settles better than midfield going forward. Then came McCreary. Mighty Lucky's off the track, firing up. Torgerson back in the field. He's a bit keen as well. Palantino's off the track. Blinkers have got him a touch keen. Followed well back by Vanbrugh, then Heavens Above. And Haraki's been taken back to last. Victoire's making them run here on Fabrizio. Fabrizio a 4-length leader from Sons of John. Le Romain in third. Then came McIntosh. Dibiani next the outside. Happy Clapper midfield from Mighty Lucky. Then came McCreary. Further back in the race then to Palantino from Vanbrugh. Heavens Above. Torgerson and Haraki's the last one. The Frenchman's putting on a display in the Epsom. Johan Victoire's got 8 lengths clear on Fabrizio. Sons of John second from Le Romain. Then McIntosh from Dibiani. Happy Clapper looking to come off the fence. McCreary's come off the bridle. Then Mighty Lucky. Palantino forced very deep from Heavens Above as they straighten up. He goes for home on Fabrizio. It's 6 lengths clear from Le Romain, giving chase quickly. So's McIntosh. Dibiani's running on. Further back to Happy Clapper and McCreary. It's Fabrizio in front, but Le Romain, Dibiani and McIntosh are all closing in. McIntosh through the centre from Dibiani. McIntosh, Dibiani. McIntosh, Dibiani. Flashing home is Haraki the outside. Oh my goodness, Haraki's come that fast, I'm not sure. Lunging at Dibiani and McIntosh. Then came Happy Clapper, followed by Torgerson. Le Romain, he knocked up Fabrizio from Vanbrugh, Sons of John, Heavens Above, Mighty Lucky. Then McCreary and Palantino.
Goodness me. One of the great Epsom victories. One of the great Epsom victories. Haraki has come from last, right over the top of them. He's got there. Duff, can you believe he has won?
He carried my money. I took my eyes off him, and just to watch a great finish to one of the best Epsoms I've seen depth-wise, and I can't believe it's him that's come out wide there late. They had to walk the last bit. These backmarkers have come into play, and he's got up to beat the enigmatic Dibiani by the look of it with McIntosh. And
an outstanding Epsom win. That one will definitely be remembered for decades.
Yeah. Wow, that was cool. Obviously nothing went really right early, but I'll tell you what, we got the best staff in the business back at second, and to come away with an Epsom win. But John's timed his preparation to perfection, so between him and the team, all the credit goes to them.
Oh, J-Mac, you're being too humble. What are you thinking at the...
What was going through your mind?
Just didn't want to go the early crow. Sitting there. It was only the last ride. Oh, what a feeling. Outstanding.
So you could sense him pick up. You're in a bit of disbelief now, aren't you?
Mate, I can't believe it, mate, honestly. I'll take it, but I can't believe it. The last 2 races we were a bit unlucky with the stern and
well, a tearaway leader and a lot of discussions in regards to that, BZ, but Haraki, all you need to do is win. And I'll tell you what, this preparation, he's gone to a different level. And if you just look at the form, he ran Winx to a length and a half, and then he comes back to a handicap. He wasn't even top weight. He was huge.
Yeah, but you stop the video at that point of the race and you think, well, he's got a hell of a lot of work to do to pick them up. And even though he does have a booming finish, you knew the leaders were going to start to stop. But at this point, the 200-metre mark, I thought, well, McIntosh, Dibiani and Le Romain, and his ability to really jump out of the ground that last 100 metres and get his head down on the post to win that was a very, very strong performance from Haraki. And John O'Shea's been quite vocal in the way he's changed this horse's preparation this campaign. He's not training him from the Warwick Farm base at Crown Lodge. He's moved him out to the Agnes Banks Farm, and they're not trying to stretch him out to 1.5 miles like they had in the past for a derby trip. They're keeping it at 1,600, 2,000 metres, and I think on the back of that performance, they're entitled to have a crack at the...
Might bring Rob into this as well, is something that John O'Shea said a couple of weeks ago about Hartnell, about now I'm training him better, and I reckon he's training Haraki better, and as you say, BZ, he's shuffling around his tools, isn't he? There's Warwick Farm, there's Agnes Banks, there's all sorts of things that he's doing to change things around, and he's actually getting results, isn't he? He's getting that extra 3 inches out of one horse.
I suppose the key, Rob, is actually trying to learn about your horse and work out what...
Because we've seen Winx be so dominant, but Haraki there moves to an $11 chance. I think it's going to take more of a shape this afternoon when we get to see Hartnell go around in the Turnbull Stakes and then into next week.
Well, there he is, Haraki right out the back, and that is Fabrizio, highballing in front.
Yeah, well, that's the talking point of the race. Fabrizio, how hard did he go out? Obviously, he went out very, very hard. They've run very fast time in this race. Le Romain's was good, Dibiani moves up here. You think he's got a chance with McIntosh, and then look out wide there. But well, Haraki, you couldn't have him, and then all of a sudden he emerges here. Happy Clappers he goes past him, and he's looking for 2,000 metres. An amazing race, and a race you have to watch 3 or 4 times to get a really good feel of it.
He's run 10.82 his last 200 metres. Haraki.
Well, that's amazing. That's a group. That's. Proper stuff when they're going that hard. When you can finish off in under 11, usually they scramble home because of the early hot tempo.
Exactly.
Let's go back.
My lead. And to be fair, look, the horse is still in front at the 200.
Well, Haraki's going to...
150 even, I think it is.
Haraki's going to run a nice 8th.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, for sure. But he sprouts wings. And as you said, he breaks 11 off a speed like that. The last 200 metres, well, why wouldn't you run him in a Cox plate? Poor old Dibiani there.
We don't hear from the beaten jockeys. We don't hear from Damien Lane here, the rider of Dibiani. But his quote was, "Just cruel. The horse ran super. They've got him going really well. We were stiff to get run down."
Well, he did start favourite against Haraki last start, so there was a little bit of a line there to say that he was...
I thought we had it everywhere but the post, but look, he had a great run in the race, just beaten by a better horse on the day.
Yeah, he ran terrific. Look, we ended up 3 back the fans, sort of followed Tommy that through and hit a flat spot on the bend, but he kept working the line strong.
Hugh Bowman, Le Romain.
Very game effort. Would have loved something.
McGrath Estate Agents Metropolitan Handicap coming up here at Royal Randwick. Our third
for the McGrath Estate Agents Metropolitan, Magic Hurricane, last year's winner in the all blue. We're all set. And they're off and racing in the Metropolitan, and Antonio Giuseppe missed the start. He's going to settle midfield. Sir John Hawkwood, DIC and Storm the Stars revved up in the early part. Abdullah's going to lead on Storm the Stars, and DIC rolls forward and will take second position off Sir John Hawkwood. Grand Marshal's pretty handy turning out of the straight, and Antonio Giuseppe, who dwelt shortly, is moving up into a 3-wide position, looking to see if he can slip in, and there might be just enough room to do that. Yes, Glen Janoo, Bowman still sits back on Who Shot the Barman. Third last Sacred Master from Quartermaster, and Amex is the last one, 12 or 14 lengths off the leader, which is Storm the Stars at the 800 metres. Abdullah gets over its neck. He's increasing the speed here, and Storm the Stars quickening, got 2 in front of DIC. Then Sir John Hawkwood from Sense of Occasion, Grand Marshal. Antonio Giuseppe about to make the move 3 wide. Magic Hurricane tracking up. Then came Allergic, needing luck from Janoob. Who Shot the Barman being roused along as they turn. Storm the Stars has run his race, and Sir John Hawkwood stormed to the front from DIC, Sense of Occasion, Antonio Giuseppe, Grand Marshal on the rails, further back to Sacred Master and Allergic making ground. Sir John Hawkwood 150 out from Antonio Giuseppe. Sir John Hawkwood, Antonio Giuseppe, Allergic, Sacred Master late, but Blake Spriggs has got it won. Sir John Hawkwood goes on to win the Metropolitan from Antonio Giuseppe and Allergic. Close up the outside, Sacred Master. Then Sense of Occasion, Janoob and Who Shot the Barman late. Further back to DIC, Grand Marshal, Quartermaster. Magic Hurricane couldn't close it off from Amex, and Storm the Stars cut out the running and finished near last.
Well, Johnny's done it. Arise, Sir John Hawkwood, a Group 1 winner in the Metropolitan, and Blake Spriggs, the greatest moment of his career, his first Group 1 on a horse he loves.
He really dashed. Caught me off guard. I thought I got to the front too soon, but
What a horse.
What a horse.
I reckon this looked a winnable race, but for Blake Spriggs, a moment he'll never ever forget, and that is his first Group 1, and Sir John Hawkwood at, what, 8 years of age? What?
Yeah, it was a 24-year-old jockey, Blake Spriggs, son of Dale Spriggs, who's, well-respected sort of journeyman through New South Wales racing, and he doesn't get many opportunities in Group 1 racing, but has a decent connection with Waratah Thoroughbreds, and Paul Fudge does Blake Spriggs. He rides a lot of their horses at the provincials, and the story went that if he got this horse going, he was going to be able to stick with it, and he's had a few trainers. He's been with Peter Moody, he was with David Van Dyke, and now with John Thompson, and Blake was an apprentice that sort of burst onto the scene. I remember one day he rode 5 winners at Rose Hill, and there was plenty of talk that could he go to that next level, and he probably hasn't sort of made that real transition into a consistent city jockey, but he's shown there on the day that he's been able to get to it and do a big one, and I'd imagine that will be a day that he will remember for the rest of his life.
Who are these horses, seriously, these Metrop? This is a century and a bit old.
I think Antonio Giuseppe will be a really nice stayer in the future, but it's probably too soon for him. But, well, there's Janoob and Who Shot the Bum, and we get a good guide through those times.
I just think the tone of the Cups campaigns have changed in recent years. We're about
Caulfield Cup. I mean, so much will change today. Jameka's and Hartnell are equal favourites. They race today in the Turnbull. Atmospheric, is there going to be...
Exospheric.
Atmospheric. I'm going to change its name a few times. $13. Scottish, gee, the big movers there is Sir Isaac Newton, because of the fact that he's actually arrived. The United States, will he go to a Caulfield Cup? I don't know.
Had a better run. If you couldn't have scripted the run you got.
No, the owner and I sat down on Friday and spoke about the race, and we had planned A, B and C, and after we'd gone 100 metres, plan A was just there. It was spot on, exactly where I wanted to be. The leader was Storm the Stars, which we thought would lead, and DIC was right there, and he just travelled so sweetly. He was a touch keen, but to be honest, that's when
he was very lame, so he looked to be going all right in the lead, and when he sort of took off, quickened up there, but he's pulled up very lame.
We've got a doubtful favourite in the Caulfield Cup.
It's looking very doubtful.
And he's not on the first page there, Sir John.
Sir John's not,
no. He's not there.
No.
Final race of the day, we get to the Premier Stakes. Change of tactics with English.
Yeah, it's an interesting change of tactics as well. They've been riding it quiet, a little bit more forward if it's possible.
Back to a $12 chance. On track opened 8, got to 11, and it's back.
Boy Malachi jumped away fairly. Southern Legends going forward wide out. Our Boy Malachi's mustering, and How Much Do You Love Me's going forward. Looking for the early lead now from the grey Smart Volatility, then Takedown. Our Boy Malachi. Southern Legends caught deep. Drill Up Me in front from the roughy Smart Volatility. Takedown. Our Boy Malachi out deep. In between runners, Good Project. Then Danish Twist. Kaepernick went off the fence. Southern Legend deeper out. And English is tracking up behind Southern Legend as they straighten up. How Much Do You Love Me rolls away from the fence. Takedown's got the rails to go through if good enough. Then Smart Volatility. Good Project behind needs a run. That Our Boy Malachi. Danish Twist is creeping up the rails. The favourites are going to get cracking. English is starting to wind up now. Takedown in front. Our Boy Malachi, the Rocky Rocket, moves up on the outside. Our Boy Malachi, Takedown, Danish Twist, they split it. Oh, Takedown maybe from Danish Twist. Our Boy Malachi, great finish in the last. Then English Southern Legend close up, followed by Amavatio, Rebel Dane. Further back to Good Project, Boss Lane, How Much Do You Love Me, Kaepernick did
off Our Boy Malachi and Danish Twist. Here's the low shot. Takedowns in front. Malachi and Danish Twist lunge. Takedown in the centre, it looks like on that, and he'll get it. There's the photo. Look out. Look out. Here comes Gary Moore.
Look out. What a bulldog he is.
Really making a fist of it, so full credit to him.
Join in the car.
I'm so lucky to have such a great horse. He could be one of the best sprinters in Australia the way he's going. And don't forget...
Fighter.
All right. Well, I think he'd like to jump on board and... Yep, OK, let's go to the Premier Stakes. We'll go right to the last race of the day here. And it was the Gary Moore show again. Down he came. Down he came from the stands, and he enjoyed this one just as much. What about this big boy? He loves a fight.
He does love a fight. He is a real tiger, this horse, Takedown. He's just something about him. He's going to start to get a bit of a cult following now. He's a beauty. He lifts himself off the canvas. He keeps having a go. That's 2 from 2 this prep. The shorts and the premiere, and he was terrific. Nothing wrong with our boy Malachi's run. He was wide, no cover, which is unusual for him. Usually he's the dominator, and he sat right into that breeze there come the last race. Danish Twist, boy, you know, she went through a class's last preparation, but that's an amazing return from her. She, you know, I know every time a mare runs well, we start shouting Maya, 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 but she's a legitimate aim for her. She's very...
50 here through the Victorian official price. The favourite is Fartanar for the Lindsay Park operation. We heard David Hayes being quite bullish about his prospects. Currently $3.20, Top Fluck $3.70 in, as we match that up with Crown Bet also at $3.20. Under the Louvre, $3.40 second pick. Then we get out to the Newmarket winner, the quarterback, Stratum. The name of the Bagot Stakes has been won by Chautauqua for the past 2 years. Plenty of other top-class sprinters have won it over the years. Haylist in 2010, All Silent 2009.
Ready. And they're off. Fartanar, one of the best to jump towards the inside. Stratum's got away pretty well. Durandal isn't far away in the early stages as they settle through the first couple of 100 metres. And Fartanar up the middle of the course is showing the way from Stratum Star. Durandal is right behind the leader. The quarterback not too far away in the cerise. Generalifa in the blue, and Wider St. Valorum with the baldy face ahead of Spy Dakota. And we've got this in the red and white striped cap and Under the Louvre on his outside, bringing up the rear of the field, as it's a pretty bunched field, not going particularly hard for a sprint as they come to the 700 metres. Fartanar the leader from Stratum Star, Durandal between them, and Wider St. Valorum, the quarterback, handy enough, has to come through near the inside of these horses. Then Generalifa, Under the Louvre peeling right to the outside of Spy Dakota. We've got this staying down near the inside, so Fartanar under extreme pressure, and the quarterback canted up to him at the 200, and he's taken over the running. We've got this on his far side, starting to run on well. Under the Louvre a long way back, but it's the quarterback completely in control at the moment. He's a length and a half in front of We've Got This, and the quarterback back with a brilliant win. The quarterback wins it from We've Got This. Photo third between Durandal and Generalifa. Fartanar weakened after having a pretty good run. Under the Louvre didn't come on. Then St. Valorum, Stratum Star, and Spy Dakota last in.
Well, the Group 1 Newmarket Handicap winner is back with a bang. The race went to plan. He was able to stalk what was a slow...
A little early than he would have liked as well, but he just put 2 or 3 lengths on them very quickly. Terrific effort, great training performance. The Newmarket
galloper, Matty Allen in the saddle. That was his 7th win riding the horse. He's paid $6.50 and $2.20. We've got guaranteed start in the Emirates Melbourne Cup. Almandin for Team Williams is the favourite at $2.60. The stablemate Aloft at $5.50. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do today, second up. Luke's $7.50. Al Moonquith, last year's Geelong Cup and Sandown Cup winner, at $9.
They're ready, gates are back. They're away and racing. And Pentathlon, one of the first to show. Dandy Jet out in the middle of the course, got away well. Shimrano from deeper still is heading forward. El Moonquith just off them, and so is Luke. And Excess Knowledge 6th down by the judge on the first circuit. And they were being followed by Almandin, who settles well back on the inside of Vonja Mask. Fidelic 2.5 lengths detached at the back. Down the side, and the pressures come right on here at the 800 metres. Dandy Jet went up on the outside, and Pentathlon along the rails, and they've claimed Shimrano. Luke moved up strongly into 4th placing, followed Al Moonquith and Excess Knowledge. Vonja Mask next around the outside, and then Almandin playing for luck closer to the inner when they corner in. Back behind them is Aloft. He's got a lot to do from there. Zantique has gone past him now. Sporkadelic last. Dandy Jet the leader. Into the straight, he's 2 lengths to Al Moonquith giving chase. Pentathlon boxing on only on the inside. Almandin trying to move through the race on the inside, is starting to really go through his gears now, Almandin. And wider on the course, Excess Knowledge, but Dandy Jet tackled by Almandin at the 200. He raced to the front down on the rail. Excess Knowledge running on, and Zantika from well back down the outside. But Almandin has a commanding lead in the closing stages and wins it well. Almandin by 2 lengths to Zantika. Excess Knowledge a neck away third. Vonja Mask will be 4th, and then Dandy Jet. Luke Pentathlon. Aloft never a chance. Al Moonquith dropped out of it. Sporkadelic, and last to finish Shimrano.
Well, there's no race that Lloyd Williams covets more than the Emirates Melbourne Cup, and he's got a horse guaranteed a start now with this brilliant performance by Almandin, racing away to win for Damien Oliver. Almandin has absolutely bolted up to beat Zantika, who's...
Yeah, he's raced very well these last 2 weeks. Obviously when we bought him was before he'd just beaten Protectionist over 2,200 metres in a Group 2 race in Germany, which was before Protectionist had won the Melbourne Cup. And of course, we didn't really realise what that form was. I don't dare say neither did the Germans, or we wouldn't have bought him for what we bought him for. But he's had a lot of problems since he's been here. Basically 2 years off the scene. All the lads at the farm, it's a great credit to them.
He was the favourite, $3 fixed, $2.60 and $1.50 there on the tote. Zantik for the Lee and Anthony Freedman team. Dwayne Dunn in the saddle at $4. Eleonora, Damien Oliver takes the ride here on this Murray Baker, Andrew Forsman to next best Japanda for Godolphin at $2,000 tab Edward Manifold Stakes, a race that's produced many top-class fillies over the years, including horses heading towards the VRC Crown Oaks.
And racing. Eleonora pinged away from the inside, and Classic Diva got away well. So did Vainglorious and Go-Go Grace. That's the leading quartet in the early part. Here's speed from out wide, and Von Richter carved over from an outside stall and is on the pace too. So settling, Go-Go Grace the leader. Von Richter a length and a half second, and they're about 3 lengths in front from Classic Diva, and Betty Ray Ruby scorching around the outside to get part of the Paris, from Paris with Love. That's the one. And then came a Waterloo Sunset a long way back down on the inside. Back towards the end is Serenely Discreet second last, and Bella Soralastra is last of all. So Go-Go Grace the leader to Betty Ray Ruby, and Peking Duck in the red colours has done it pretty tough. Von Richter's right in behind them when they swing around the turn. They're followed by Classic Diva, Vainglorious coming on wide out, and right off the track is Japanda when they come into the straight, and Exocet has worked her way to be just off the leading bunch of horses, and From Paris with Love has peeled out wide, and down on the rails Eleonora's got nowhere to go. Coming past the 400 metres now, and Japanda out wide, and Vainglorious have raced up to tackle the leaders. Another Bullseye getting an inside run, and right down the outside Serenely Discreet is motoring home. Serenely Discreet out wide, got up to another Bullseye. Then Bella Soralastra finishing it off well out wide, but Serenely Discreet clear, and Serenely Discreet, unlucky last time, beats Bella Soralastra. Getting through to get third there was Waterloo Sunset just in front of another Bullseye. They got away on From Paris with Love and Japanda, and they were trailed then by Go-Go Grace. Why, you ask? Vainglorious Exocet didn't come on, followed by Eleonora and Classic Diva. Peking Duck weakened out, and Von Richter last home.
Well, she deserved that after nothing going right for her at Caulfield last start. She has amended that performance with it.
Onwards and upwards, and everything's looking really well.
An important race for a filly to win a black type race like the Edward Manifold, but you've still got options aplenty. Is there a chance she'll back up next week? Connections have advised she'll be ridden back with cover.
Which is a good recipe, I think, today, the way things have unfolded. And she's in good form. She's fourth run in. She was good in the Let's Elope after covering ground on speed. And then she came out of that, and once again, Manageress and Metaphorical both come out of the same race. Every Faith was a terrific run at Caulfield last start as well. It's a very competitive event, as you would expect, this Group 2, the Blazer Stakes. But I think Darren Weir might take...
$3.90 to $3.60 and back out to $3.80. There's a few at good prices, though, that have been really well backed. Amongst those, Antilucan, which currently is at
1,400 metres. Rockalicious a little slow to move on the inside, and Pure Pride is snagged to a clear last, and Antilucan began quickly and is out having a look for the early lead ahead of Rockalicious, kicking up to hold the rails in second placing, and Majestic Lass strides up freely the outside to go to second now, including Coronation Challenge out very wide, French Emotion, Vibrant Rouge, Pure Pride and Nimini Pimini. Up around the turn at the 600 metres, Antilucan showed the way from Majestic Lass. Rockalicious right behind them on the inside with Catch a Fire, and Metaphorical wide are improving their places. Tilapia threading a needle down towards the inside to get through. In the straight, Antilucan being tackled on the outside now by Majestic Lass, and then Rockalicious running on well. Tilapia right in behind these leading few. He's looking for a run on the inside and getting it, and here's French Emotion starting to really wind up. French Emotion flashing home on the outside, move to Antilucan. Tilapia getting through on the inside, and Pure Pride's flying home. French Emotion in front of Pure Pride. French Emotion by Nick to Pure Pride. Vibrant Rouge from nowhere gets up wide, I'd say, to grab third ahead of Tilapia, who hugged the fence, and then Rockalicious, Metaphorical, Coronation Challenge, Antilucan, Majestic Lass, Every Faith, followed by Manageress and Nimini Pimini. Catch a Fire weakens out. She's the last one home.
French Emotion gives champion trainer Chris Waller a double here today, and he continues a great strike rate he has when he links with Ben Mellum, for these horses in Melbourne. She's done the job in fine style from off the speed today. $6.
Looks an absolute cracker as well. Let's have a look at the market currently with crownbet.com.au, and Hartnell has been incredibly impressive the last two starts, winning by 6 and 8 lengths, and comes up a short price favourite here. $2.20 when the market was set, has been backed into $1.90 now and continues to be supported. Hartnell, one of the best goes, probably the best go in fact of the day here at Flemington. Jameka is the one that has been backed to beat the favourite. $5 to $4.60 was $6, but the price on the favourite $1.90. Hartnell is
the Group 1 Yellow Glen Turnbull Stakes, the 69th running of the race, worth $500,000. A race has had a massive impact on the big features of the Spring Carnival over the years. 25 years ago to the day that...
They're set and away now. And the starters caught them well with Hartnell, the first one out, and Jameka away very quickly, and Tarzino's right on the premises as well. And the big guns are up there firing early. Sophia Rose is coming over, and Second Bullet on a deep move is going up towards the front runners as well. So it's a little bit busy here, and Jameka just takes a trail off the leading 4 or 5, and they stretch across the track. Sophia Rosa pokes her head in front. Hartnell using the inside. Round the outside then goes Second Bullet, presses on to take it up now. So it is Second Bullet, Raw Impulse back about the middle of the field. Second Bullet, Little Engine, 1,000 metres left to go. And out in front is Second Bullet, shows the way by a half. Tally keeps him honest. 2 lengths, Sophia Rosa, third on the inside of Tarzino. 2 lengths to Hartnell running fifth, no excuses. He's had a good run. A couple behind him then came Jameka, Preferment on the rails midfield. And they're followed by Raw Impulse, our Ivanhoe, Happy Trails to Little Engine. And Set Square is now back last of all. On the run to the home turn in the Turnbull, 600 metres left to go. And the leader is Second Bullet from Tally, who's gone up and heads him now. Right behind them is Tarzino in the red colours with Sophia Rosa. And Hartnell, McDonald's peeled out. He's in clear air. He's ready to let go when they corner in. Jameka's on his back being niggled at by Hall. And then Preferment well in the straight now. And Hartnell bolted up on the outside and took his stablemate Tally. Jameka about a length and a half away, battling along strongly. And then a gap to Tarzino, but Hartnell below the 200. He leads by more than 2 lengths. He's gone away on Jameka. And then Tally and Preferment, but the real Hartnell, we're seeing him today all right at Flemington, and he's going to canter in. Hartnell, ultra impressive by 3 or 4 to Jameka. Tally's run third, Preferment fourth, then Happy Trails, Tarzino, to Little Engine, Set Square out wider from our Ivanhoe. Further back in the field, Sophia Rosa, and then Raw Impulse and Second Bullet last in. Wasn't that awesome?
That was awesome, Greg. That was the performance of a champion. Number 4, Hartnell, absolutely destroying his rivals here today. James McDonald and John O'Shea for Godolphin, a devastating winner of the Turnbull Stakes. He's proven far too good for Jameka, who's continued her good form this campaign. At the defending champion with Happy Trails running on well for 5th. The story is Hartnell first, Daylight second. An extraordinary performance, Hutchie.
Oh, it was incredible. Beautiful run through the race. It was just shook the reins at the furlong, and what a response from Hartnell. He is going incredibly well at the moment, and I think Jameka is as well. Couldn't have really tracked Hartnell throughout and was just left in the wake when the button was pushed, but supremely impressive. Hartnell, Godolphin first and third.
I was lucky I got into a beautiful spot, and he did the rest. He's going fantastic, this horse, and John said to me before I looked on, he said, I reckon this horse has improved, funnily enough, and the way he dealt with that field, he's improved immensely, and look at his attitude.
And yeah, you had it in the bag a long way up.
Yeah, I had it in the bag about the 800. It was pretty easy. Once I got that three pairs back, one out, there was not a horse going to beat him in that race.
Well done, James.
Royal Ascot. He's come to Australia. He won a couple of Group 1s at his first preparation. He's now come back, I think, a vastly superior horse to that as we have a look at his closing fraction. So 22.51 last 400, 11.55 last 200. He's whizzed past Jameka, 22.89, 11.76 depth here. But the tale of the 2016 Turnbull Stakes is really all about one horse, the 69th running of the race, going to...
That's his form.
Going to...
That's his form. We said that when he left here, and they're all worried in Victoria. Oh no, he doesn't go here. You know, they remembered the Hartnell from last year, but that's the Hartnell from last year, but that's.
Here's Jameka running terrifically behind Hartnell. Now Hartnell's going, we know, to the plate. I mean, Jameka here was what, 56.5 kilos, drops down to 53.
I think I don't think she carried that much on this occasion. In the Turnbull, she would have been light set weight.
54.5, yeah.
Yeah, but then you've got Tally, who's run third in this race, who's going to back up into the Caulfield Cup. Preferment is there, so this is not a bad Caulfield Cup form guide, and she almost meets all those horses better at the weights.
Just while we're looking at Hartnell, Dave, you're good mates with John O'Shea, and it's been an interesting couple of years there with Godolphin, but the ducks are all lining up now, aren't they, for Godolphin? And this horse, the amazing turnaround, just with subtle things like just his manners and just his just all that sort of stuff, just little things have contributed to a big improvement.
At different times, he's looked outstanding, hasn't he? And now he's looking outstanding again. So I'd say John will be very, very happy.
We'll look, Shay, and it's been an interesting couple of years there with Godolphin, but the ducks are all lining up now, aren't they, for Godolphin? And this horse, the amazing turnaround in his form from last year, just with subtle things like just his manners and just his just all that sort of stuff, just little things have contributed to a big improvement.
At different times, he's looked outstanding, hasn't he? And now he's looking outstanding again. So I'd say John will be very, very happy.